Last Sunday was a day of grieving, a day of mourning, a day of healing. It was not a time to play football. It was a time to lend a hand and give a hug. It was a day when our football heroes paid tribute to other heroes. Now, with a new sense of purpose, it is time to return to work and play, to open our stadiums and move forward, to return to football and everything else that America stands for, to take our first step together with dedication and determination, while never forgetting where we've been and where we need to go.
Our thoughts and prayers today are with so many people that we lost, so many people that are missing, so many families that have been affected by this attack on America, attack on New York. In particular, we pray for and we remember the police officers and the firefighters and the EMTs and the healthcare workers who sacrificed their lives to save over 25,000 people. So all of us today remember them and pray for them and dedicate ourselves to them to make certain that we prevail, and we will. It's time, though, as the President has said, as Governor Pataki has said, and I join with them, it's time for Americans to go about their lives undaunted, without fear, to show the people who attacked us that they can't stop America. They can't stop America from going forward. They can't stop America from prevailing. It's time for us to get back to playing football and playing baseball and going to school and going to the movies and going to plays and creating and doing the things that make America the greatest country in the world. So I'm very, 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 very happy today that the NFL has gone forward with their schedule, and we're going to play football again, and we're going to show people that America just moves ahead, and we're undaunted, and we're not at all fearful. Thank you, and God bless America.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of green,
for purple mountain majesty,
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please join together in a moment of silence for the victims of September 11th. Thank you. Your attention is directed to the field where a color guard from Otis Air National Guard is joined by Massachusetts State Trooper Dan Clark for our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, Imagine, if you will, that the year is 1814 and this nation is at war. You are on board a ship sailing towards the enemy fleet. That same enemy that just burnt your nation's capital to the ground. Your mission is to win the release of a prisoner of war, a respected physician, and your friend. You board the British flagship, and after intense negotiations, they agree to release your friend. However, you all remain captive because of the battle that is about to take place. On the morning of 13 September 1814, the British fleet begin a bombardment against your homeland, the likes of which have never been seen before. Rocket after rocket, cannonball after cannonball. For 25 hours they pound on, but through the night, you're able to look towards the shore and you can still see the stars and stripes flying in the breeze. And in the morning, the bombardment ends and there is silence. And as the sun comes up over the horizon, you are able to look toward the shore and you can see that the troops of Fort McHenry have raised an American flag that is so large and so grand that each of its 15 stars and stripes measure 2 feet across. A flag that is so magnificent, it cries out, "This is the United States of America, and we will never surrender." You are so moved by the show of guts and resolve, you write the following song. Your name, Francis Scott Key. And ladies and gentlemen, this is your national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
These have been stirring times. And shortly, the ceremonial coin toss that'll feature the Andruzis from Staten Island, New York. Joe, number 63, the starting right guard for New England. His father, a retired New York City police officer. 3 brothers, all 3 New York firefighters who were at ground zero from day one and continue to inspire us like their brothers. We'll be back with the opening kickoff. While honoring our real heroes, the firefighters and police, biggest cheers of this pregame were for the men and women in uniform. It's been a moving tribute thus far, and it continues here as Joe Ambrosi, his father, as we said, a New York City policeman, and the 3 brothers, all from Staten Island, New York, who are firefighters, were there in the opening moments of that catastrophic day, Tuesday in New York City. Ambrosi trying to hold his motions together for these last 12 days. Of all the Patriots, he has felt it deepest of all. It really has been a time for all of us to examine ourselves, hasn't it, and how we relate to others. And if there is one goodness out of this gross tragedy, is the fact that fellow man feels, has empathy for one another, and it goes right down to the core of these players themselves.
They
They represent not only the New York City, but also the New England Patriots and all of America today. Let's join them again for their heroism and give them another hand.
Owner Bob Kraft's idea, the owner of the New England Patriots, to include the 4 other Ambrosies today.
Heads is cold. It's heads. The Jets have won the coin toss.
And the Jets win the opening toss. And the men who have been so close to that ground zero and who threatened not to play had the NFL decided to continue the schedule last Sunday, they said they would not have played. They would have taken a forfeit. Welcome back to the continuation of the National Football League season. And as a former player, you can feel most of all how difficult it's been for these men, these American men, as players to come back and play their game again today. And most of that sign that said we have heroes and we have players, the nicest thing that I've seen so far in our meeting with them is the players themselves know that best of all.
They really do, Dick. And the players, to a man, wanted to come back and play. They're back in their comfortable surroundings in the locker room with each other, and I sensed a real willingness to play a game here this afternoon. Yes, it's going to be hard for all of us, but the players are here because they want to be here. They want to play.
Also joining us down in the field, Bonnie Bernstein.
Hi there, Dick. Well, Herman Edwards is here, and obviously a very emotional time for the entire organization. Herman, your message to the team before they left the locker room?
Well, I think we have to be, emotion is not going to win the game. Execution and focus is going to win the game for 60 minutes, and that's what we have to try to do today. We have to execute, and we have to stay focused.
Coach, thank you. Obviously, the task at hand today, the Jets are well aware of, but even before the game, much of the talk on the field still about September 11th and the aftermath. And in fact, just an hour and a half before right now, Wayne Corbett said to me, usually my focus is way on football right now. I'm hoping at some point it finally kicks in. Dick?
All right, thank you, Bonnie. And back to work they go as Lee Johnson squeezes a little extra yard out of the ball and gets ready to deliver his left foot. Chad Morton deep for the New York Jets, acquired from New Orleans. Check it to Adams and Terry to kick it. And Morton, who wore the green and white of the Jets for the first time 3 weeks ago. Vinatieri gets it started. Morton comes up to the 8. To the outside at the 30. Still on his feet to the 40-yard line. So the Jets start with good field position. Matt Stevens with the tackle, and out comes Vinny Testaverde. Testaverde now in his 15th year in the NFL after his Heisman season at the University of Miami, Florida. Testaverde, a couple of touchdown passes in the opener against Indianapolis, won by the Colts 45-24, and he's moving up on the all-time NFL passing list. Curtis Martin, 3 years in New England, 1,000 yards each season, 3 years now in New York, 1,000 yards each of those 3, and he's the tailback. Testaverde to Corbett, and a first down at the 49 of New England. And let's take a look at the opening lineup for the New York Jets. Up front, and they've been together for 3 years. Fabini, Jenkins, Mawai, Thomas, and Young. Curtis Martin and Anderson in the backfield. Coles and Corbett wide out, and Anthony Becht is the tight end. First down in Patriot territory. That's Anderson in motion. And the toss to Martin. He's got 5 and close to 6 to the 43-yard line before Anthony Pleasant can make the tackle for the Patriots. And here they are defensively. The starters with Hamilton, Seymour, Pleasant, and Pfeiffer and ex-Jet up front, with Vrabel and Bruschi outside, and Brian Cox, the former Jet, in the middle. Ty Law and Terrell Buckley at the corners, Stevens and Malloy the safety. Bill Belichick in his second season here in New England defensive mastermind, both with the Giants and Jets. Head coach at Cleveland 5 years. Pump fake by Testaverde, and he's going long. And Lavernius Coles can't get there. Terrell Buckley on the coverage for New England.
Well, Dick, talking to both head coaches, one of the things that's a big concern is the buildup of the players during the week, because you just don't flip a switch on Sunday afternoon. It is a week's preparation. It's like climbing a mountain. Both Herman Edwards and Bill Belichick were pleased with the progression of their teams as the week went along. Both said by Friday we were flying around. Both expect their teams to play well.
3rd down and 4. Testaverde hit. Is it roll to fumble? No. Incomplete pass. His arm was going forward. Anthony Pleasant and Richard Seymour, the rookie from Georgia, in there quickly.
And the call, by the way, made right on the spot by Larry Nemmers, who is our referee today, and he is one of the originals as they are all back. And you can see Vinny Testaverde's arm moving forward, and there comes Nemmers in right away to say incomplete pass. But the officials in the NFL have settled their contractual dispute, and we have the regular officials back working all the NFL games this weekend.
Troy Brown, who came into the league the same year Drew Bledsoe was the #1 pick. He was picked in the last round and has been very productive. He's going to let it go, and it'll bounce into the end zone. So Tupa's kick will present a 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for New England. 43 yards, 23 net. We'll return to Foxborough. And welcome back. Patriots had the ball for the first time. Drew Bledsoe, now in his 9th year, just 500 yards away from joining that 30,000-yard club out of Washington State. Doesn't qualify Palouse.
I'm never quite sure where the Palouse begins.
I'll take you there sometime. Hand off to Antoine Smith out to the 25, a gain of 5. Marvin Jones, the tackler. The Patriots line up this way with Light, Compton, Woody, and Druzzi, and Robinson, Randall. Antoine Smith, the former Buffalo Bill. Mark Edwards from Cleveland. Troy Brown and David Patton. He's an interesting story. We'll get to that. Rod Rutledge, the tight end. Patton brings new speed, and he's a graduate of the Arena Football League. 2nd and 5, and Smith can't get out of the backfield. Dropped for a loss of a yard as Mo Lewis is there for the stop. It's 3rd and 6. Here are the Jets defensively. Ellis, Barnes, Martin. Barton Martin's picked up off the waiver wire, and John Abraham is a star to be. Mo Lewis, Marvin Jones, James Ferrier, familiar names at linebacker for New York. Aaron Glenn and Marcus Coleman at the corners. Damian Robinson, acquired from Tennessee, and Victor Green, the safeties.
And the matchup to watch is that guy right there, John Abraham, going against a rookie at left tackle, and Matt Light, their 2nd-round draft choice from Purdue.
3rd and 6, a little shovel pass to Edwards, but doesn't fool the Jets. James Ferrier, and he stopped short of the 1st down. So the Jets bring on their punt return team with Chad Morton drifting back, and Lee Johnson, who now owns the punting yardage record in the National Football League, approaching 50,000 yards. That's somewhere around 28 miles. So you could start kicking here and get all the way to Boston.
And all of that amassed over 17 years. That's a good life. 17 years as a punter.
Out of BYU, and he lost the spiral to the 20-yard line. And a fair catch, and just missing at the last minute. Diving job by was Gerard Cherry, eluding the penalty.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the HP PhotoSmart digital camera. How will you use it? Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. And by Chrysler. Drive equals love.
Lee Johnson's 51-yard punt. He had his, with all those years, 17 years, his longest ever was in the opener against Cincinnati, a 76-yard punt. And at the 21, the Jets put it in play. Testaverde off play action. Goes underneath, and short gain for Curtis Martin before Mike Vrabel can trip him up.
Well, one of the strange things happening on the field today, Dick, is going to involve Vinny Testaverde under center, looking across the line of scrimmage and looking right at Brian Cox, his teammate for the last 3 years. They know each other so well. They're friends. And Vinny said, I know what's going to happen right off the bat. He's going to be yelling, Vinny T, Vinny T. That's what he always called Vinny. And good friends, but today competitors.
Of course, knows the scheme for the Jets and will be trying to help out his new teammates. Martin, a former Patriot, a yard shy of the first down. Ty Law up from the corner to make the stop. It'll be 3rd and 1. Yeah, he said, Cox, he'll try to make me smile and laugh. He said, but I know he's going to hit me, and I'm not going to be smiling much during this game.
You notice that neck brace that Brian Cox wears. Well, when he played for the Jets, it was green, and when he came to New England, he brought his green shoulder pads and neck brace with him, and the guys in the locker room said, Brian, you're in New England now. That the green pads have got to go. We do not wear green here in New England.
Ty Law, in making that tackle, then injured and jogs off under his own power. See Cox's record with the New York Jets, and over his career with 4 interceptions and 21 forced fumbles and 52 sacks.
You see them washing out the left eye of Ty Law. Hopefully nothing too serious.
Leonard Myers, a rookie, replaces him, number 25. 3rd and 1, right into the teeth of that Patriot defense, and pretty solid as Anderson met by Brian Cox. It'll be close for the first down.
Well, we mentioned the Patriots' number 2 draft choice starting at offensive tackle. Their number 1 draft choice, Richard Seymour. He's number 93 right at the bottom of there. You saw Brian Cox come flying in. So the Patriots getting playing time early from both of their top draft choices. The Richard Seymour out of Georgia, boy, he's going to be a good player in this league for a long time. 6'6", a little over 300 pounds. Still got room to grow, if you can imagine that.
Only 21 years of age. Was 2 times all SEC at Georgia, and his help on that stop will send the Jets punting team on the field. The other point, Dan, yesterday in talking with both Bill Belichick and Herman Edwards, and you asked the question, coaching this week, were you a little easier on them because of the circumstances, or were you tougher than normal? Interesting answer, and that was the same from both.
The same from both. They said, if anything, I was tougher on the guys. Football players can't be given an excuse for failure, and both of them said, if anything, I was harder on the guys this week than I was the week before the opener. And it just a little insight as to what's involved in coaching in this business. There's no manual to tell these guys how to handle something like we've all been through as a nation. You have to go on your own and hope you figure it out.
Tupa's punt to Troy Brown. Brown at the 24. Gets a good block and then bumped out of bounds at the 30-yard line. 46-yard punt, 6 on the return. 9.5 minutes left in the opening quarter. New England and the Jets, no score. Sellout of 62,000 at Foxborough. Each stand presented with an American flag, and unanimous in our standing salute to the bravery of our firefighters and policemen. Kevin Falk, the new tailback in this sequence, and he able to struggle barely back to the line of scrimmage. John Abrahams sprinting in from that defensive end position. Log on to NFL.com for real-time scoring, up-to-the-minute stats, live play-by-play only at NFL.com or AOL keyword NFL.com.
Word comes along that Patriot cornerback Ty Law just had some debris in his eye. They've gotten it out, and he'll be back out the next time the Patriots are on defense.
Second and a long 10 for Bledsoe. It was J.R. Redmond from Arizona State. Flag goes down as Redmond picks up 5 to the 35. Abraham and Ferrier collaborate on the tackle.
Not being able to predict the future with any regularity, I feel strongly, though, Dick, there will be more flags thrown this weekend than we have seen thus far.
Way to go out on the limb.
Yeah, the replacement officials were very sparing in their throwing of the flag.
Holding, offense, number 86, 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
David Patton, the wide receiver from West Carolina, who has kind of bounced around for a while, was out of football, working an $8 an hour job, and just wouldn't give up. He played at the Albany Fireballs in the Arena League.
Coaches realize that holding is going to happen with your tight end and your offensive lineman. They really become ill-tempered when it's a wide receiver who gets caught for holding. They realize how much they are out in the open, and they really work so hard at keeping their arms to the inside. It's just, you cannot get away with anything when you're as exposed as a wide receiver.
So second down and 14. It's Troy Brown in motion, and Bledsoe to throw. Underneath, complete to Redmond to the 35, so they picked up the 10 from the previous penalty, and it'll be third down and 5. Ferrier and Coleman made the tackle. J.R. Redmond, Joseph Robert.
He was their third-round draft choice last year, and again, Robert Edwards, who was hurt several years ago, the Patriots' #1 draft choice, not the answer this year. And desperately, this franchise seeks to find a running back and a running game to go with it. It's all Drew Bledsoe offensively, unfortunately.
Direct snap this time. Number 33, and that's Kevin Falk, who kicks his way out to the 48-yard line.
Well, there's a little razzle-dazzle. Charlie Weiss, the offensive coordinator, goes into the bag of tricks early. Boy, look at that snap right to him. What a great job. Boy, that's a play that so easily can just fall apart. The snap's a little bit off. Boy, really well done. Mike Compton out in front with blocking. Robinson Randall out front. Good-looking play, good pickup.
13 yards for Falk. That was his first carry of the season. This is Mark Edwards plowing through tacklers to the 37. Victor Green finally gets him to the green.
And what a nice addition for the Patriots is Mark Edwards. With the Cleveland Browns last year, Butch Davis with the new system in Cleveland really doesn't have need for a true fullback, and that's what Edwards is. And, Dick, it surprised us yesterday when we were talking to Bill Belichick about his running ability.
Yeah, he called him his best runner and maybe one of his best all-around players.
It kind of shocked both of us.
San Francisco and Cleveland, no one noted that total talent. Bledsoe with protection. Overthrown, and Victor Green was closer than David Patton.
That's not good. Victor Green, the Jets' strong safety, also has the reputation of one of the hardest hitting safeties in football. He led the team last year with interceptions. He had 6, but Victor will come up and tell you that the deep middle and the deep outside of the field belong to number 21, and he who comes in my area is going to pay for it.
Hand off to Antoine Smith. Not much there. Marvin Jones on the play for the Jets. Marvin Jones now in his 9th season. Can that be the #1 pick, 4th player selected in '93? Led the team in tackles last week with 7. 3-time All-America. He won all the awards, took home the trophies. Lombardi, Butkus, so forth. His days at Florida State.
How about Florida State yesterday? Getting beat by North Carolina. John Bunting, the coach of North Carolina.
Offside, and Sean Ellis, whether drawn off or not, was 2 steps into the New England backfield.
Defense, offside, number 98, unrestricted to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty,
Shane Burton
still third
is
down.
the Jet ticketed. And speaking of coaches, Al Groh, the former Jets coach, with a last-second win at Clemson for the University of Virginia team last night.
Cavaliers, huh? Well, this certainly makes the play selection coming downstairs from Charlie Weiss a whole lot easier now that you go into a 3rd and short instead of 3rd and 7. A lot more plays on the sheet in this price range.
3rd and 2. Edwards and Redmond behind Bledsoe. It's Redmond. Oh, to the 20 and inside the 15. What a hole
they're taking advantage of the fact that the Jets have 2 new tackles in there on defense, Dick. You documented that when you did the opening lineups. But success in the middle. Andruzzi, Compton, the 2 guards. Damian Woody, the center. A little bit of a delay, and there comes Mark Edwards. And look at his lead block. So Mark Edwards, not only an outstanding runner, but he gets an outstanding lead block in there as well as he goes right into Marvin Jones. And what do you know? The Patriots running the football.
16 yards on that one. They come right back with Edwards, and he picks up a sizable gain inside the 10 to close to the 7 before Sean Ellis can wrap him up.
And this is physical football, running the ball like this. And it's something the Patriots have been outdone in that category by the Jets over the years. The Jets have won 6 of the last 8 games between these 2 teams. And Brian Cox telling his teammates, the Jets believe they're going to come in here and push you around. I'm here now. That's not going to happen.
They're going to be a little more physical.
Now, this is a good start for New England.
2nd down and 3.
And that's a bad start, seeing the ball never got snapped.
Patriots against the Bengals made only 2 red zone trips and produced 2 touchdowns. As the Bengals, who have shown again that they've improved tremendously, beat New
False
England.
start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Well, Damian Woody is the center. He gets called for the false start. It appears that everyone in the New England offensive team knew the snap count except the guy who has to deliver the football, Mr. Woody.
So the 5-yard penalty, that is embarrassing.
Well, in the old days, they would call the first guy who moved, and he got the penalty. You know, the old story was, as a center, you can't be offside. They actually credited him with the false start.
Penalty takes them back to the 12-yard line, so it's 2nd down and a short 8. Underneath, complete at the 9-yard line, and hit hard Mark Edwards by Mo Lewis.
Well, what an all-around football player, Mo Lewis. Last 3 years, he's gone to the Pro Bowl, and that's why, because he is an all-around football player. Led the team in sacks last year, but he's not just a guy that rushes the quarterback. In coverage, playing the run, short yardage, rushing the quarterback, it makes no difference. Mo Lewis, proficient in every aspect of the game.
He's now the dean of the Jets, his 11th season. 3rd down and 4. Looks to the end zone. Throws almost intercepted.
Oh, Victor had it.
Victor Green down low. It was a tough chance, but he had a crack at an interception.
Take a look at the cover. That's David Patton, who's making his break, and it looks like the ball was way back to the inside. Patton was open, but the ball was a good 2 or 3 yards low and back more towards the middle of the field.
26-yard field goal attempt for Vinatieri. Dan made one last week, 39 yards, to give New England the early lead. A new one where
wait a minute, yeah, because this would be a first down if this is against the Jets.
Damian Robinson with that hesitant count by Tupa, who's a former quarterback.
Yeah, 5 yards would be good enough for a first down if this is against New York.
Or check that Lee Johnson, who is the holder. He calling out the signals. You could hear through our microphones. Of course, half the distance to the goal will not be enough.
Oh, you're right. Well. No, 5 years.
The 9-yard line to the 4.5.
How close is
close? I would think they're going to have to measure here.
It's going to be close. We have a delay of game on the defense. The end on the left side of the defense made the offense false start. That's a half the distance penalty. We'll measure it and see if it's a first down.
Yeah, this is going to be very close.
Let's listen to Lee Johnson.
That's what's known in the business as a hard count. That's where you really have boy, you have to practice that. We've seen a lot of nice wrinkles by the Patriots so far. We saw the direct snap to Kevin Falk. Now we've seen some real discipline on their special teams and sitting tight. This is close. I would say about
first down.
Well, defensively, that's about as big a mistake as you can make, other than just outright giving up a score. Where you surrender a first down inside your own 5-yard line by just making a mistake, a mental error.
So first and goal from the 4 for the Patriots. 12th play of the drive coming up. Yeah, he got them both on that defensive left side, didn't he? Both Glenn and Robinson. Edwards straight on for a yard, maybe a yard and a half.
Now this is where, as an offensive football team, and specifically the offensive line, when you're trying to build a running game, when you're trying to build your confidence in running the football, this is where success in this area would have dividends that last for a long time.
Brian Cox moves out of the backfield.
And he's familiar with this role. He's been doing this for a while. He's around the league. Everybody's utilized him here.
Edwards in motion. Second and goal. Smith. Met rudely by a wave of New Yorkers. Ferrier and Abraham leading the charge.
Now, as you're the lead blocker, one of the things you want to do is hit one of the guys in a white shirt. Brian Cox runs right into the back of Greg Robinson Randall, and I'm sure Greg was wondering, what was that? Who hit me in the back?
Now what did I do wrong? Third and goal from the 2 as that Jets defense challenging Bledsoe and the Patriots. Smith again, no way, squeezes to the 1. Rick Lyle's submarining was there first, and Marvin Jones as well.
But you can really see what Bill Belichick wants to do. He's trying to build confidence in this running game. 3 straight times they run, and of course, 3 times they don't get there. And they're going to try for 4.
Runner pass this time.
Brian Cox comes back into the lineup.
We asked Coach Belichick, does he have any plays designed where Cox will get the ball running or catching? He said, well, sometime we might throw that one in. Running out of time.
They're going to run out of time here.
And Bledsoe doesn't see it. And that's going to cost them 5. They took a lot of time in getting personnel on the field.
There's a flag down. Unless Drew called it and got the call, this is going to be delay against the Patriots.
Ouch.
Delay a game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
So the field goal unit now will come on.
Well, the Jets who gave the Patriots the first down because of a mistake, they make one heck of a goal line stand. 3 straight times the Patriots hammer away. 3 times they get much of nothing. And now it's the Patriots' turn to make a big mistake.
It was first and goal at the 4, and 3 shots got them a yard each time to the 1. And now Vinatieri, a little more than a extra point, 24 yards. And the Patriots settle for the 3. Final minute of the opening quarter. New England up 3-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV, the #1 digital satellite entertainment provider. And by Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Welcome back. Dick Enberg with Dan Deerdorf, Bonnie Bernstein, Foxborough Stadium, its final year. Now in its 31st season. 64 yards in 15 plays, but look at that, on the ground, 62 of the 64 yards for the Patriots. New stadium next year. That'll be about 7,000 capacity higher. You can see the rim of the stadium as it's more than half completed. Beautiful new facility, and boy, they'll really miss this one now, won't they? And Patriot fans.
Not.
Chad Morton to the 10. 25. Got some room out here. 30, and the former USC star is out of bounds at the 34, run out by Matt Stevens. 3-0. Patriots lead, 40 seconds remaining opening quarter. Welcome back for America Fights Back. There's the number, 1-800-710-8002. Supporting the disaster relief effort, helping the families of the victims. 1-800-710-8002. 3-0 New England, final seconds. Kevin Swain now on the field for the first time for the Jets. He's been playing football for more than 40 consecutive weeks. The XFL with Orlando, then with the nearby New York Dragons in the Arena League. Number 82, Swain, knows a lot of locker rooms.
It'll be a 30-second timeout.
Timeout, New England, a 30-second timeout that Belichick ruse having to spend. 24-yard field goal by Vinatieri, giving the Patriots the only score. Tonight after our game, 60 Minutes, and then Academy Award winner Richard Dreyfuss comes to CBS in his first TV series. Don't miss The Education of Max Bickford. Premieres tonight after 60 Minutes here on CBS.
Football coaches are always talking about keeping your head on a swivel. That's what Larry Izzo, right there, number 53. He did not keep his head on a swivel. He never saw Lamont Jordan coming over. That was on the kickoff return the Jets just had, and that was an alley.
Curtis Martin to the 37-yard line. Ty Law back in the game, makes the tackle. And that probably will be the last play of the quarter as Testaverde slowly moves to the sidelines to get his signals relayed through Paul Hackett, the new offensive coordinator with the Jets. Ted Cottrell, the new defensive coordinator.
Yeah, Paul Hackett, the last 3 years, has been the head coach at the University of Southern California. Prior to that, though, a lot of years in the NFL.
On 2nd and 6 with 4 seconds left in the quarter. They will get a play off, and it's to Martin. 40, squirts out to the 45, 40, and out of bounds at the New England 34-yard line, and a flag at the 43 in Jets territory. But there's Curtis Martin, so clever, not the fastest, not necessarily the quickest, but boy, does he read defense as well with the ball.
And it is for naught.
Offense, number 77, 10-yard penalty.
Right guard Randy Thomas. So that negates an excellent run by Curtis Martin. Of course, you linemen never thought you held. I mean, why call it on me now?
I can guarantee you that every offensive lineman in the NFL has talked about the fact that the regular umpires are back, and the blatant holding that's been going on around this league is a thing of the past.
We'll return to Foxborough right after this message. Welcome back as we open the second quarter here at Foxborough Stadium. New England Patriots leading 3-0. Each of these teams looking for that first win, and kind of a tough pill to swallow to open any season 0-2, and both coaches reminding their players just that fact as the Jets have it at their own 27-yard line. Up the middle goes Martin. Across the 35 to the 36 before Brian Cox can trip him up.
The difference between the two teams, Dick, would be that Cincinnati beat the Patriots on opening day, and of course Cincinnati's in another division. The Jets lost to Indy, and if they were to lose to the Patriots today, not only would they open at 0-2, but they'd be 0-2 in the Eastern Division here in the AFC, and that just multiplies it. That makes it worse.
Third down and long. 8 for the first down for Testaverde. Goes to 3 wide receivers. for Belichick, and the 12-year veteran from Tennessee State has his first sack of the year.
Well, Vinny gets a look downfield, and you take a look at that work right there. But getting back to the inside of Fabini, and that's the key. Good work upfield, a real veteran, feeling that he had an opening back to the inside. Anthony Pleasant, who's been around this game a long time, knew he had Fabini leaning to the outside, made the sharp move across his face directly to Testaverde.
Tom Tupa sends a dying duck that goes short and out of bounds in front of the Jets bench at about the 35-yard line. We have a flag down and a battle royal going on over at the 35-yard line. 4-3 Patriots against a single Jet. Ferguson drawing all that attention. Nick Ferguson of the New York Jets, a defensive back, and probably one of those situations where everyone was trying to block him and trying to get him down on the ground. Myers and Cherry amongst the Patriots doing the work, and this might be one of those negating penalties.
It looked like somebody just threw Ferguson his helmet. That's... Leonard Myers there looks amused by what's been going on.
Personal foul.
Serious? Oh, no.
On number 36 of the defense and number 22 of the offense. Those penalties will offset. We'll replay fourth down.
Oh, so the short kick, that's a break for the Jets because the ball had gone out of bounds at the 35.
Here we are up here. You see the double team by the Patriots. Let's take a look at, and there's the left elbow. Oh, that was a great shot by Lawyer Malloy. Looked like directly to the head, but I don't think that's what drew a flag. I think it's what happened afterwards in response. Damian Robinson is number 22 for the Jets, who was singled out rather by Larry Nemmers. But Lawyer Malloy, you could see him take a pretty good shot.
Further discussion by the officials.
I didn't see a flag fly with that initial blow by Lawyer Malloy. I'm assuming that it was in the scuffle between the two players. That's why they both got flagged.
Now trying to be certain is referee Larry Nemmers that this was the correct call.
Well, the NFL rule book has a thing called clean hands, and it's got to do with if you get possession of the ball, and it depends when the penalties happened and under what circumstances, there is a way that you could actually, where the Patriots could end up with the football.
Either re-kick it.
It's funny, as captain, he's talking to Lawyer Malloy, the guy who's directly involved with it. You can see that Ferguson is at the bottom of this. He's already lost his helmet. That's the very end. Yeah, that's just goading by Lawyer Malloy as he continues.
Patronize me.
No, that's as he pats him on the head. Kind of ironic that his defensive captain and the instigator of the whole thing, Larry Nemmers, is talking to Lawyer Malloy about what the Patriots' options are here.
Well, it's only fair the Patriots should be represented by a lawyer.
How did I miss something that obvious? I've lost my fastball.
Since the foul happened during the kick, the receiving team has the option of keeping the ball and having them penalized from the end of the run. They have chosen to offset the foul and re-kick.
That is under that umbrella of what they call a clean hands foul. The Patriots could have kept the football.
But they'd have been penalized 15 from the 35-yard line.
And they didn't like their field position, so they'll give it another try. This would not be the time to throw an elbow out there on one of the sprinters.
Tupa went to Ohio State on a basketball scholarship and then quarterback the Buckeyes. Short kick again, and Brown to the 40, to the 50. Still on his feet and picking up blockers. And finally drilled at the 43-yard line. A 23-yard return by Troy Brown.
And a wise move by Brad Seeley right there, the special teams coach in the Patriots, to make the Jets kick again. It worked out. Here's to Bucky Jones and Terrence Shaw working against this guy right here, Chris Hayes. Look how you're allowed to hold. Look at the way that Shaw has a hold of his jersey, loses his helmet, but you got to give a lot of credit here to Chris Hayes. He's making every effort to get right back in it.
Brown returning it to the 43-yard line. J.R. Redmond, a loss of a yard. Let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Dick, on that last drive, you saw several different running backs for the Patriots, and if you think about it, New England hasn't had the same starting running back since that guy in green was here in 97, Curtis Martin in 98. It was Robert Edwards in 99, Terry Allen. Last year was Kevin Fuck, and Antoine Smith was a free agent pickup, and Bill Belichick says we were lucky to get him because Slim Pickens out there.
Bledsoe unloading the ball and almost to the arms of Aaron Glenn as James Reed putting the pressure on the New England quarterback.
Well, Bonnie, you talk about the running back situation as we take a look at this play, and we'll come back to that. You can see Drew's going to get hit from the backside right at the very end. You see that? And he just wasn't able to step into the pass. Very nearly intercepted. But you can't blame the Patriots for their inability to find a running back because they had one in Robert Edwards, who gained over 1,100 yards in 98. And what a tragic story when he blew up his team.
3rd and 11, and Bledsoe can't find a receiver. And he flipped that one away, and it'll be ruled incomplete, I would guess. Yes, incomplete pass. You don't have to throw it overhand. You can throw it sidearm, and he saves a possible short loss.
Well, if he's not out of the pocket, that's intentional grounding. Because if your intent is to, that's intentional grounding. There's no way that that's not intentional grounding. You can do that only if you're outside the tight end pocket.
Grounding on the quarterback, threw the ball directly into the ground. That's a 10-yard penalty. Loss of down.
Bledsoe jogging back out on the field. If they accept the penalty, that'll be 3rd and long. No, they lose the down, so it's 4th anyway, and on comes the punter, Lee Johnson.
Well, credit Steve Martin with the guy who really made that happen. He was the guy that was all over Drew Bledsoe. But you've got to be outside the tight end pocket to be able to get away with something like that, where you can just dump it up towards the line of scrimmage.
Out there, you can throw it sidearm or underhand any way you want it.
As long as you get it back to the line of scrimmage, you're all right.
Johnson. Morton's going to let it bounce, and it takes a Patriot roll down inside the 10-yard line. 46-yard punt. Patriots lead 3-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better. Staples. Staples has everything you need for your business at great low prices. And by the all-new 200 horsepower Acura RSX Type S.
Welcome back after the game. 60 minutes, a time for all of us to be informed, and Ed Bradley reports from the Middle East tonight on 60 Minutes. First down, Jets inside their 10. Testaverde has not thrown much, but he fires from deep in his own end to Quebec, and he is covered by 3 Patriots. Ty Law leading the pack.
Well, that was his 3rd completion out of 5 attempts. Before that was for a grand total of 8 yards, and I don't think he picked up anything there. So he's got 3 completions for about 9 or 10 yards. That's there we go, 19 to be exact. So it is not it's a very slow start here for the Jets offensively. Only 23 yards rushing to this point as well. The Patriots have kept the football for most of the first quarter.
2nd and 6, the toss to Martin, and he's hit at the 10-yard line and driven back. Brandon Mitchell, 5-year veteran from Texas A&M, with a solid hit.
Just good, solid defense. Job A, turn it back to the inside. Job B, have inside flow to the football, and that's exactly what the Patriots had right there. Look at the time of possession there for New England. Almost 2-1 in both categories.
Richie Anderson into the lineup for the Jets on 3rd and 9, and Testaverde fires to the 20-yard line to Lavernius Coles, and that looks good enough for a first down out at the 20.
Well, he might be 37 years old, be 38 later on this football season, but Vinny Testaverde can still put some zip on the football as it goes towards the sideline. Just a perfect pass that only Lavernius Coles could have caught, low into the outside, and a very effective throw by Vinny for the first down.
He still throws as pretty a ball as anyone.
He sure does, and he is not a kid.
On first down, Markey. For him again, battles for a yard or two. Testaverde, whose dad was a concrete mason and helped in the construction of the Twin Towers, he went back, got close to ground zero, and picked up a piece of concrete, granite about the size of a football, and took it back to the locker room. It's in his locker there. He said he wanted it to symbolize the commitment and the bravery of the men and women who've been working so relentlessly there, and it's a lesson for all of us in life, not just football, and that's going to be his reminder. On 2nd and long, screen it. Oh, again, the Patriots, as if they've got their head in the Jets' huddle. They have really stifled Curtis Martin. Vrabel and Johnson this time.
Well, let's face it, there's great familiarity between these two teams. But if you're going to shadow somebody, it is Curtis Martin, the guy you shadow. And how about that job by Richard Seymour, the rookie defensive tackle, who goes out and is actually the first guy to get his hands onto Curtis Martin. Boy, now there's how you justify being a number 1 draft choice.
6 players selected overall. 3rd and 10.
That was outstanding awareness.
Testaverde to the sideline and incomplete, intended for Wayne Corbett. Or Kevin Swain, rather, was the target. And Leonard Myers, who was a 6th-round pick out of the University of Miami, Florida, and has developed very rapidly for the Patriots, has become their 5th defensive back. And
Romeo Crennel, we got a good shot of him over there on the sidelines, congratulating his troops as they came off of the field. There's Romeo. He and Bill Belichick have been together for a long, long time. Another, part of that New York Giants connection. Defensive coordinator now here in his first year.
Troy Brown, another short kick by Tupa. Remember, he didn't kick last week. He had a hip problem, and that isn't the Tupa that we've seen root the ball out in past seasons. Only 28 yards on that punt. It's 3-0 New England. 9 minutes plus remaining second quarter. Welcome back to New England, and the New England Patriots, with a short field goal by Adam Vinatieri, have the lead, and good field position on that short Tupa punt. First down at the Jets' 49. Smith, and Smith with a gain of about 4. James Darling makes the tackle. A reminder to follow all the games on NFL.com, and after the games, get in-depth analysis and recaps from the experts only at NFL.com or AOL keyword NFL.com. The Patriots now have an adjustment in the offensive line. Grant Williams, number 76. You look at Brian Cox, trying to inspire teammates on defense. Williams has moved into right tackle, and Greg Robinson-Randall, injured with an elbow, is out. And that's been a weak spot for the Patriots, as Edwards stopped after a game of a couple. Barnes helping out Mo Lewis.
Oh, but we're getting a good look at what the Patriots would like to do offensively, and that is hammer away between the tackles. When Mark Edwards was mentioned to us by Bill Belichick as maybe being his best running back, he said certainly he is our best running back between the tackles. And knowing that the Jets have moved Sean Ellis back out the defensive end, 2 new guys in there in Barnes and Martin, why not try to take advantage of it by trying to get physical between your 2 offensive tackles?
On 3rd down and a long 3. Jets might have leaned forward, and the flag goes down. The pass incomplete, intended for Kevin Falk, but John Abraham, number 94, the second-year defensive end from South Carolina, he's so eager to get after the quarterback.
Well, such great
Defense,
speed.
offside, number 94. The 5-yard penalty will make it a first down.
It's what all great pass rushers have, is an anticipation of the snap count. You try to get every advantage. Being a youngster, though, John just talk about pulling your trigger a little bit early and going. He just couldn't hold back. Oh, look how frustrated he is. But this man has greatness all over him. He is going to develop into one of the fine pass rushers this game knows in the next 7 or 8 or 10 years. He's special.
We're calling him a big Derek Thomas.
Oh, he can go.
Bledsoe gets it off, but Edwards tackled for a loss at the 40-yard line as Victor Green saw that one all the way, and that was Abraham plowing into Bledsoe as he delivered the ball.
Well, defensive linemen aren't supposed to be able to close this quickly. Look how he's going to cover the distance. He's starting in the 2 points, standing up, and just completely surprises Bledsoe. And what a tribute to Drew that he's able, falling backwards and with Abraham in his face, to get this and deliver it to Edwards. Yeah, it went for a loss, but Drew Bledsoe, boy, he gave one up there and still delivered a pretty good ball.
So 2nd and 13. Abraham, who had 4 sacks in only 6 games before an injury as a rookie. Underneath, the throw is complete, and it's David Patton for maybe 3-4 yards, and Abraham, trailing the play, makes that tackle.
Well, there's one way to atone for a penalty that costs your team 5 yards. It's just you can't get into a discussion with anyone who knows football around the NFL about John Abraham without all sorts of adjectives. Working against the double team, and look at the hustle, coming all the way back across the field, wanting to be in on it. You know, a lot of defensive linemen are happy to just take care of their little 3-yard or 4-yard area. Outside of that, it's not my business.
3rd down and 10. Bledsoe fakes the screen, going long for Brown, intercepted. It's Aaron Glenn, and he's tackled at the 2-3 yard line. Well, Troy Brown the target.
On 3rd and 9, that's better than any punt that the Patriots could have hoped for. I don't know how the fans can boo. You couldn't possibly have asked your punter to punt it out of bounds at the 2-yard line like that. So 3rd and long, not that bad of a play and not that bad of a decision by Drew Bledsoe.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Original Coors. Nothing beats an original. And by IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level.
Aaron Glenn with his 20th career interception. He, along with Jets teammates with a family center counseling victims of 12 days ago. He said, boy, did I learn to listen. From his own end zone, the handoff, and Martin battling his way out across the 10-yard line and close to a first down. Let's go back to the pick by Aaron Glenn.
Boy, what a good run there by Curtis Martin, but this is why they're having to come away from their own goal line. Drew gets the he fakes it to Troy Brown and then goes down the field, but Aaron Glenn is looking more like the intended receiver than is Troy Brown. But wow, coming out from being backed up against your own goal line, what outstanding blocking by the Jets offensive line to give Curtis Martin that hole. Boy, there's nothing sweeter for an offensive lineman, being able to get yourself a little breathing room from your own goal line.
And first down, back to Curtis Martin. And Martin, former star at the University of Pittsburgh, out to the 20-yard line. A look ahead to next week's CBS doubleheader. There are the early games. Big one there, Miami at St. Louis. Will be out in Dan Deerdorf's neighborhood. And late games, how about Baltimore at Denver with the Super Bowl champions licking their wounds after an upset today. And it all begins with NFL Today at 12 noon Eastern Time. Martin now with 38 yards rushing in this first half. 7 more on that carry. New England showing a little running game today. Back to the workhorse No, it's Richie Anderson this time. And Pleasant and Saylor, 2 tackles for New England, make the stop.
And as everybody knows, Richie Anderson, mostly a receiver. When he gets even he's smiling at one of his rare carries. He carried it twice last week, but Richie is a receiver. Look at that, 27 carries for the entire season. Put that against the fact that he had 88 receptions last year on his way to the Pro Bowl. What a fine young man, a fine player, and deserved credit last year by being able to go to Hawaii and represent his team.
3rd and 1. Jets are 1 for 5 in third down conversions, and Martin adds to that average with a 4-yard hit up the middle, and Hamilton and Pleasant make the stop. First down for the Jets.
And this is more of the offensive production the Jets have been counting on with this veteran offensive line. This group has been together now for a couple of years. Very physical group, good size, excellent athletic ability, anchored by Kevin Mawai, a 2-time Pro Bowler over the ball. Factor in a guy like Curtis Martin, durable, smart. He is the complete deal, isn't he?
He is indeed. Well-conditioned, no one whoops any harder. On first down, play action by Testaverde. He wants to go deep, and he finds Corbett open at the 45. And he's to the 50 and trying to rip the ball out of his grasp, but unsuccessfully were the Patriots, as Roman Pfeiffer trailing the play.
Well, good ball movement here by Vinny Testaverde. Look how he sells it inside there to Curtis Martin. That frees, you can see both linebackers of the Patriots step up towards the line of scrimmage. That frees the whole middle area of the field for Wayne Corbett to come in short of the safeties. The linebacker support wasn't there because they bit on the run fake.
Biggest gain of the game for the Jets, 25 yards. All right, the New England 49, and Testaverde on top again for Coles, and he caught it! He caught it off the carom, and he's tackled at the 4-yard line.
Can you say Greg Freeman? Remember that catch last year?
Day.
That's right.
The flag is down.
Oh, back at the line of scrimmage. Oh, and the Patriots are, I think, breathing a colossal sigh of relief here.
The illegal block.
Looks like we're going to get a chop block, maybe.
But look at this play by Coles after we straighten this out. A remarkable catch for naught.
And really, it was good. Look at good coverage by Terrell Buckley.
Personal foul. Chop block. Number 28 offense.
Curtis Martin.
15-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, they're calling Curtis Martin for a chop block. Let's look over on the right side of the offensive line, the left side of our screen.
He was already engaged by another blocker. And
yes, here's the catch at the very end. Look how he flicked it. Look at Coles. Watch his right hand. Watch it when he goes down. He's going to reach out right here. Look how he flicks the ball right back to him with his right hand. Boy, that is sensational concentration. Unfortunately for the Jets, it doesn't count. You can't make contact with a player when he's being engaged by another player. And Curtis Martin got the flag.
Hand off to Martin. 40-45 and almost to midfield. And another solid carry by this 28-year-old who didn't play football until a senior in high school, and his mother said, you're going, just the opposite of a lot of moms, they said, you're going to play football. I want you to get in some activity where you stay out of trouble, and he had a sensational senior year and, of course, some great seasons at the University of Pittsburgh. 2-minute timeout with the Patriots leading 3-0. And welcome back to Foxborough. The Patriots leading, and Dan, this longest drive for the Jets. They started at the 3. They're at midfield.
Well, and they've really not had good field position here in the second quarter at all. Let's see if they can overcome the adversity. Right there, we're going to see the chop block. This negated. Look, see Curtis Martin, but that's actually Anthony Beck, number 88, who's the one who's down low. Yes, you can't do what Curtis Martin did and hit a guy when he's already engaged, but Beck was the one who was below the waist.
There's Martin again, weaving his way through tacklers and down to the 43-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 4. Bobby Hamilton made the stop, the ex-Jet. A reminder, the Nextel halftime report coming up. Jim, Mike, Randy, Jerry, scores, highlights, and the latest NFL news, plus a CBS News update. And on this second week of the NFL season, some surprising scores, and they'll have all the details. Big call here, 3rd and 4 with Anderson and Martin split behind Testaverde. More yards in this drive than combined in the first half. The others wide open is Anthony Beck, the tight end, and he has a first down at the 30-yard line of the Patriots. Make it the 29. Ty Law with the hit.
Well, everybody says that Vinny Testaverde, you know, he's had the Achilles surgery, but yet he still moves well enough to get out there and do something like this. He's got 2 Patriots after him. Bobby Hamilton, the defensive end, kind of caught really in a position whether to rush Testaverde or whether to drop back. But Vinny still has enough left in those pins to get out there and still get in space and make something happen and deliver a good ball.
Beck's first catch today at 4 in game 1. 7 for 10 throwing is Testaverde this first half from the 29. Wide open is Coles. And Lavernius Coles ducks out of bounds, stops the clock, flag down. That might be a personal foul on the Patriots. Terrell Buckley might have gotten a piece of the face mask. Or a late hit.
Personal foul. Number 26 defense. Unnecessary roughness. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
So they're going to say that Stevens made the hit out of bounds.
Buckley had pushed him out of bounds.
Let's go ahead and take a look at Coles. He's working on Buckley. He's out of bounds there. And Stevens comes in and delivers the blow. Now, let's see how far out of bounds he was.
1 step.
One step. He makes contact with the helmet. He leads with his hat. That was something that probably had as much to do with it as anything else. He made contact on a receiver with his helmet first. In this league, that is no longer acceptable.
First and goal, the full 10 yards to go for the Jets with 1:09 left in this first half. Testaverde throws the ball down, and was that intercepted with a lineman on the ground? How could that happen? Oh, my! Richard Seymour, the rookie, on the ground, and Testaverde trying to down the ball, or perhaps a fumble, showing there was an incomplete pass, and Seymour caught it.
Well, Larry Nemmers never signaled that it was a pass. He never signaled that his arm was going forward. Vinny has to realize that backside pressure is going to come sooner or later. Now,
it's a fumble.
We saw Vinny's arm move at the end, and he's going to make his case. Now, keep in mind, we're inside the 2 minutes of the half, so any question about a replay, the decision will be made upstairs in the replay booth.
And they're going to review it.
Oh, they've got to take a look at this. But, again, remember, this isn't called for by the coach.
I thought he caught it cleanly, and the ball goes off one of the Jets players, and it was Seymour who recovered what would be ruled a fumble if that's how the play stands.
That's a good angle right there, guys. If we could look at that, it almost looked like Vinny's arm was moving forward before the ball came out. His arm got hit. Anthony Pleasant, the defensive line. That one's not a real definitive look. And keep in mind, anytime we're in a review situation, this one right here. I think his arm started forward.
I do too.
I think that look right there would be the look that Larry Nemmers is going to see and rule that an incomplete pass. I think of all the looks we have, that's the one that's pretty definitive. But keep in mind now, the ruling on the field was that it's the Patriots football.
On a fumble by Testaverde.
So Larry Nemmers, our referee, must see visual evidence that is conclusive. Right here again. Yeah, I think his arm started forward.
Didn't get forward very much, but it was in the action of moving forward.
I think that the Jets will keep the football here. I think that's the look right there, guys.
It's going forward, and the defensive player's hand is right on his throwing hand, Anthony Pleasant, and so he couldn't follow through.
No, excellent look at it right there.
Got 61 seconds left in this first half. 3-0 Patriots, and the Jets with their best scoring opportunity. And now in the hands of the replay judge.
Well, you know, certainly Vinny Testaverde, he instantly started to plead his case. He's going, come on, Larry, my arm was moving forward. Now, Vinny would say that even if his arm wasn't moving forward, so I don't think Larry put a whole lot of stock in what Vinny was saying right there.
Considerable time examining the replays, isn't he?
Flags are everywhere. Did you see the flags there on the hood? That look at that. When you drive into the stadiums today, I wish everybody could see it in person. All the tailgates going on, every car with flags, people waving flags.
Patient about the security measures, goodwill. I mean, there was just it had you weakened in the knees just watching and observing our fellow men and women and how the rallying effect of all of this.
If I had to pick one word, it would be pride.
Indeed.
Yeah. Makes you very, very proud. Well, back to business. This very important.
After reviewing the play, the quarterback's arm was coming forward before he was hit and the ball was out. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass.
That's why we have replay, folks. That's why we have replay to correct an error. And that was an error on the field, and this is good work by everybody involved. Most definitely, Vinny Testaverde's arm was coming forward before Anthony Pleasant hit him right on the forearm and jarred it loose.
So it's an incomplete pass back to the line of scrimmage, which is the 10-yard line. And it'll be 2nd and 10. 2nd and goal from the 10. 87 yards. Remember, this drive began after the interception by Aaron Glenn at the Jets' 3-yard line. Jets have not succeeded in that red zone. Martin. And he gets only a couple. So that'll bring up 3rd and goal.
I think he ran into his old buddy Brian Cox. Brian was just sitting in the middle waiting. What did Brian tell us about Curtis Martin? He said, hey, he's a cutback runner. I've been telling the guys all week, stay home. He will come back. It may look like he's leaving, but he will come back.
3rd and goal. Ball outside the 8-yard line. Swings it to Martin. No gain.
Well, the Patriots were all over that. When Curtis Martin flares out of the backfield like that, shame on any New England defender that would lose track of him. Curtis flares out, and 3 guys went with him.
Anthony Pleasant, defensive tackle, Ted Johnson. Timeout, Herman Edwards with 3 seconds, and he just got the time. Get that field goal unit on. Jets try to tie it at the half. We'll be right back.
I wrote this song on the back of a Dixie cup. Money talks, but it don't sing and dance and it don't walk. As long as I can have you here with me, I'd much rather be forever in blue jeans. I'm in blue jeans. Do you get it? Forever in blue jeans, babe.
Back in Foxborough, the Jets are preparing to try a short field goal to tie it up. Nextel Direct Contact halftime report coming up. All the scores and highlights, earlier games, plus the CBS News report. John Hall kicked a short one last week, 22 yards. This one will be 26. And right down the middle. The first half comes to an end. 2 short field goals, the only connections. The Bledsoe-led Patriots 3 and the Testaverde long drive to tie it at 3. Let's go to Bonnie.
Well, Dick, we saw a pretty forceful Patriots ground game. Herman, how do you adjust defensively?
Well, I think they're doing a great job on us. We had made some big plays, but when we make a big play, it seems like we shoot ourselves in the foot and we make a mistake. And that's what the first half has been. The good thing about it, we've got it 3-3 now, and hopefully we can come out and play better the second half.
Thanks.
Quite a contrast to the 69 points scored the first week of the season when Indy beat the Jets 45-24. That's the end of the first half, tied at 3. Coming up next, the Nextel halftime report. Welcome back, ready for the second half, and John Hall to kick it off. Deep for the Patriots, Kevin Falk, the second-year man from LSU. Falk, who had such a brilliant career with the Bayou Tigers, all-purpose yards. And Hall sends it deep. Boy, he got all of that one. 5 yards deep, they're going to take it out. And the gamble doesn't pay off. 17-yard line is where the Patriots will begin. Pleased that you joined us in Foxborough, the Patriots season opener, and we look ahead to the rest of what should be a terrific year. And I almost had the feeling that first 30 minutes, players were just getting themselves back into a certain rhythm. Second half, more scoring, perhaps?
Perhaps. Anything's understandable when it comes to the quality of play. And let's go ahead and take a look at the halftime stats, and you see that the Jets, with 136 total yards, nobody's really burning it up. Only 17 passing yards, though, on the other side. A whole lot of new people being incorporated into this New England passing game.
Antoine Smith, gain of maybe 3 as we go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
All right, Dick, checked in with Bill Belichick, the Patriots coach, and overall seemed pretty happy. He said, we've been effective with our run game simply because we've been able to throw a bunch of different backs in there and change it up to keep the Jets off balance. Of course, they're also going to have to keep Curtis Martin in check in the second half, 64 rushing yards in the first half. Dick?
All right, thanks, Bonnie. Of course, a lot of that yardage coming on that final drive, 89 yards from the Jets 3 to the New England 8, and settling for the 26-yard John Hall field goal. On 2nd and 7, Bledsoe to throw. Just does get it away in traffic. Complete for Rod Rutledge, his tight end, short of the first down at the 26. James Ferrier on the coverage.
Well, you know, when Drew Bledsoe throws the ball to Rod Rutledge, that he has worked his way through all his other receivers, because Rutledge is primarily a blocker in this offensive scheme. He only had 15 receptions last year as the starting tight end, so it's not surprising that the Jets kind of lost track of big number 83. He does not throw a whole lot of scare into the Jets defense.
That was his first catch of this season. 5 defensive backs on 3rd and short, and throw complete to Charles Johnson, the veteran from Colorado. Number 1 pick by the Steelers in '94 and acquired from the Eagles when they released him. Mo Lewis made the tackle. First down, New England at the 37.
Well, Charles Johnson, another new face here, joining Bert Emanuel, David Patton, Torrance Small, who was released today, and someone I think the Pats would probably like to re-sign. And, of course, Terry Glenn won't be available to the Patriots until the 5th game of the season, serving a league suspension.
Out of the shotgun on first down and throws underneath. Complete short yardage to Charles Johnson, who lurches forward out of the grasp of Ray Mickens.
But it's going to take a while for Drew Bledsoe to really find familiar ground, Dick, with this whole new receiving corps. You know, other than Troy Brown, Drew really does not have much in the way of familiar faces. And yes, they're players who have had success other places, and that counts for something. But it still takes time to really gain that sense of comfort that a well-executed passing game really requires.
And Belichick's really rolled over the roster. Bledsoe fires in traffic, complete. And what a catch by number number 86, David Patton. He's the player that Belichick feels as a free agent, signed by the Giants in 97. He's been around, had 38 catches last year in Cleveland, and has some speed. That's a tough play.
Well, he has a lot of speed, and he's really about the only receiver here in New England that really can stretch the field vertically. And he may be the best pure receiver. Troy Brown, very productive with 83 catches last year, but Patton is a guy who can go down the field.
Edwards keeping his balance and puts his head down and fights to the 34, close to a first down. Victor Green finally got him out of bounds.
Well, and as a fullback has to do in the National Football League today, in a West Coast offense, or most offenses, you got to be a good receiver. And Mark Edwards is certainly that. You take a look at the guy, look at him physically, 6 feet, 245 pounds, but he's got soft hands, a nice feel out in open territory. He's a real asset in the passing game.
College ball at Notre Dame on 2nd and 2. It's Mark Edwards on the ground for what appears to be a first down. Marvin Jones with a solid tackle, but the Patriots' drive continues, and Drew Bledsoe is 5 for 5 on this opening drive of the second half.
Marvin Jones looking over to Ted Guttrell to see if he can get the call coming in from the sidelines. It's still, I think, another year in New England where the success of this team is going to have to be on the right arm of Drew Bledsoe.
Antoine Smith, and Smith burrows his way inside the Jets' 30-yard line. A reminder, Tuesday on CBS, a hotshot corporate attorney gets into trouble with the law. His punishment is defending the most helpless clients, whether he likes it or not. Don't miss The Guardian, premiering Tuesday on CBS. Spot at the 29-yard line. It's 2nd and 7.
Of course, the Jets missing Jason Ferguson in the middle of their defensive line. They're starting nose tackle. He tore a rotator cuff during training camp, and he's out for the season.
So off play action, then puts it into the flat. Here comes Edwards again. Across the 25 to the 23. He's getting extra yardage on every carry. First man isn't bringing him down.
Well, a good look right there that even a big hitter like Victor Green wasn't all that excited about being faced with a one-on-one with a 245-pound Edwards. Watch Victor Green come up here. He does not, coming in from the right, number 20. You see, he breaks down and kind of does the stutter step rather than, just fly right into Mark Edwards trying to deliver the blow. He was more of the guy willing to let Edwards come to him and then try to bring him down.
Another first down, 10th play of the drive. Now at the Jets' 23. 22-yard line. And Smith tripped up, no gain. Maybe a loss of a yard. Shane Burton down low to make the tackle, and the flag down in the backfield of the Patriots. Pats or Patriots. Somehow those two don't work. They're not Patriots and they're not Pates.
They're pate.
On you tonight?
No. Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Tripping, number 99, defense.
The defense for tripping.
10 yards to the end of the run. It'll be a first down.
Watch in from the right there. Oh, there it is. Eric Abagu. Look at that. Boy, it's a tackle. He got him down, but that was really obvious. He stuck that leg out and tripped him intentionally. Bonnie, is that the way they do it at Maryland?
University of Maryland graduates there. That's a terrapin tackle.
Bonnie Bernstein won't talk to me next week. I'm finished. I am on the outs. I have somehow maligned her beloved Terps.
She may get you on the parallel bars next week. It's a first down now for New England inside the Jets' 15-yard line. This is where both teams, when it's progress into the red zone, have played their best defense. Head linesman Dale Williams coming in with his word on that last call. Herman Edwards had a chance finally to sit down with Herman. Hadn't talked with him since he was a star defensive back himself, and you can understand why everyone says the same thing about him. What a nice guy.
We used to play against one another when I was with the Cardinals when they were in St. Louis, and in the NFC East against the Eagles. And when you talk to Herman Edwards, a very disciplined, a very dedicated guy, talks about the people that were important in his life, people like Dick Vermeil, Tony Dungy, and
his father, who was an Army retired 26 years.
It's no secret as to why Herman Edwards is as disciplined, and he admits it. He said, my father was a stickler for detail, and Herman is exactly the same.
Clean the corners. Gibson out to Troy Brown, breaks the tackle, and earns 4 tough yards before dragged to the turf by James Darling.
Boy, he got Marcus Coleman, who came up quick to miss him. And it's one of the things that Troy Brown really does well. He really does make some extra yards after the catch. For being a pretty small guy at only 5'10" and 193 pounds. Marcus Coleman, a much bigger guy, and he came up, and Troy was a little shifty there and made him whiff.
2nd down and 6.
Jets, well, it looked like it hopped right to somebody in a Patriot uniform
initially, and now they exchange direction signs.
But you could tell by the way the tussle went on afterwards that he didn't field it cleanly. Boy, it looked like it was really fortunate for New England. It bounced right to one of their guys. Everybody from New York seems to think they have it.
They do.
All right, let's take a look at this. Mark Edwards on the right of your screen. He's going to take it on the delay, and he's going to take a big hit right there, right on the football. James Darling knocks it loose. It looks like it goes right to Antoine Smith, but he's not able to control it.
Former Washington State star James Darling. He made the hit, played the last 4 years with the Eagles, unrestricted free agent. Look at this tackle.
Yeah, he puts his shoulder right on the ball. Look at it come out. But, geez, it goes right to Antoine Smith, and somehow he muffs the ball and isn't able to control it. What looked like a really fortunate break ended up not being so.
So from the 7-yard line, Curtis Martin, and wrapped up. Good solid hit by Richard Seymour. Bonnie?
Well, we've got the 3 Andruzzi brothers, not quite like the 3 Stooges, but all the brothers of Joe Andruzzi, offensive lineman for the Patriots. Now, Mark, you're the youngest. This was your first day on the job when everything happened. Talk about the adrenaline rush you've had today coming out and doing the coin toss.
It was unbelievable. I didn't think it. I just sat there and I just looked up and looked at all these fans, and I'd never been around anything like this. And I wish everybody, all my firefighter brothers from New York could be here right now. And that's about it. I hope everyone's all right.
Well, Mark's the youngest. We've got Billy, and Jimmy was the closest one. He was in the North Tower and got out just minutes before it collapsed. You stayed a few extra hours. You were back on the job in the pile the next day. How were you able to muster the strength to do that?
I felt like I owed it to there's 343 guys on there. I owed it to them, and I owed it to their families. If they had a possible chance to get out, they needed all the help they could. And I owed it to the people that are in there, and they're still in there. 311 are still in there.
Guys, as a native New Yorker, thank you. Really doesn't do justice to the way we all feel about the job you've done, but you're going to have to do for now. Guys, thanks. Back up to Sarah.
All 3 Andruzzi boys, college graduates, and their brother who plays for the Patriots. Joe said, I'm the black sheep. There they are. They part of the ceremonial coin toss, along with their father, Bill, a retired New York City policeman. What a family, and what a moment for them as they share with each other and share with their friends back home in New York.
And in talking with Joe yesterday, it was just the emotion so close to the surface, and knowing how close he came to, and yet, you have elation because your brother is fine, but so many others are gone.
On 2nd and 10, it's Richie Anderson out to about the 28-yard line. The 3rd down and 8 for the Jets. Still a 3-all tie. 7 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Well, the Patriots Patriots' first turnover of the game was that long throw by Drew Bledsoe that ended up being all the way down to the 3-yard line, and not really a critical error, but that turnover right there, that definitely cost the Patriots some points, and the Jets are moving the football pretty well up to this 3rd and 6 situation. Curtis Martin has been having some running room.
Testaverde rolling and looking. By Kevin Swain. He's that young man out of Wayne State, Nebraska, who's played football all year long, going back to Orlando, the XFL, and New York Dragons Arena, and now in the big league.
And again, Vinny Testaverde buys time on the move to his right and finds a receiver and delivers a very effective pass. Vinny has been hurting the Patriots getting outside the pocket intentionally. He's not being flushed out. Design plays by Paul Hackett getting Testaverde on the move, and I'm not sure New England counted on the fact that this 37-year-old is going to be moving like this.
And for Swain, that's his first NFL catch. Not the first for Curtis Martin. He's across the 50 and down to the 48, maybe the 47-yard line, a couple yards shy of a first down again for the Jets. With 1 week under their belts, who looks like the early favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year? You have a chance to vote. There are some of the leading candidates. Maybe you have someone else. LaDainian Tomlinson of the Chargers certainly off to a good start. Just log on, cast your vote at NFL.com.
Well, LaDainian Tomlinson can only hope that he matures into the pro, the equal of a guy like Curtis Martin.
Only 3 players, first 6 years, have rushed for 1,000 yards. Testaverde, great fake, wide open, Beck to tight end, and he has a first down at the Patriots' 37-yard line.
Beck, part of that group of quadruplets last year with the Jets, where they had 4 number-1 draft choices. Anthony Beck out of West Virginia, the 2 defensive linemen, Ellis and Abraham, and of course their backup quarterback, Chad Pennington. Quite a bounty in the first round last year for the Jets.
And they all feel they'll be a part of this future. They haven't been disappointed one bit by any of those 4. Another first down for New York. So the Patriots drove it all the way inside the 10 and fumbled, and now the Jets on the move. And Testaverde throws it away, and the flag goes down. They say he was not outside the tackles.
Remember now, that pocket goes from not tackle to tackle, tight end to tight end, and it's. Of course, when he's on the move like that, Larry Nemmers is this is a judgment call on his part. He's talk about ballparking it. He's got to try to sense where it is. He's trying to figure out if there was anybody over there, and he's asking his.
He'll get a lot of help from Herman Edwards and the Jets if he wants to ask them.
Herman's yelling, "I was
There's
open."
no foul in the play. The quarterback was out of the pocket, and he did get the ball back to the line of scrimmage.
All they had to do is get it beyond the line of scrimmage.
Well, Larry is saying that he's outside the pocket. That pocket's going to be from here over to about here. So to the far side, that pocket goes to about the hash mark. Well, he was right about on the hash mark when he threw that.
And the other condition was it had to clear the line of scrimmage.
It has to get back roughly to the line of scrimmage. You can't just throw it into the ground when you're out there.
Well, the Jets escape there. 2nd and 10. Testaverde swings it out. Richie Anderson. And he's tackled at the 34-yard line. Short gain by Matt Chatham and Ty Law.
Oh, we're still going, and here comes a flag again. While we sort this out, I want to say one thing about Larry Nemmers, the referee. That was good and effective use of the field mic in explaining exactly why he picked up the flag. In saying he was out of the pocket and he did get it back to the line of scrimmage. That's a big help to everybody watching the game.
Defense, unnecessary roughness, number 54.
Teddy Bruschi.
15 yards to the end of the run. Automatic.
So that'll push the Jets even deeper into New England territory.
All right, let's watch Teddy Bruschi. He's going to come into our picture. Oh, there he is. Oh, that play is well over. I mean, that hits Wayne Crabett right in the back. No, Teddy, I don't know what you were thinking. But that play had been over for several seconds. You can't run up and hit somebody in the back who's just standing there defenselessly. It wasn't a real vicious or violent hit, but still, it warranted the flag.
First down at the Patriots' 19-yard line. Empty backfield. Testaverde complete to the 12-yard line to Richie Anderson. Anderson, who led the team in catches last year with 88 and had 6 in the opener and continues to be a top receiver. Wednesday on CBS, catch the show that critics are calling sensational. It takes Survivor off the island and onto the road. The Amazing Race continues with an all-new episode Wednesday on CBS.
Well, as this game goes along, we're seeing, is it just me, Dick, or is the efficiency starting to pick up a little bit? It seems like
a little sharper.
Yeah, the execution seems to be at a little higher level.
At the 12, it's 2nd and 3. Martin.
Oh, and Teddy Bruschi rips off his helmet after hitting Curtis Martin like that. Teddy, he ripped that helmet off himself. After there was Teddy, that you could hear that shot clear up here in the press box. Curtis is going to come back into the middle. There's Ted. Oh, a helmet-to-helmet shot. No wonder he ripped it off. His helmet got driven up, his face mask up around his nose. May have damaged his helmet.
He was a little wobbly knee, too, as he walked away.
Yeah, that was a helmet-to-helmet collision.
12th play of the drive. First and goal, Jets at the 8. Martin. Touchdown, New York.
Now, the Patriot defenders that time didn't heed Brian Cox's advice. Stay put because he will come back. A textbook Curtis Martin run. He starts to the outside, allows the hole to open up back to the inside, and then makes the cut upfield. Oh, how many of Curtis Martin's yards have looked just like this. Watch him start to the outside. He's almost parallel to the line of scrimmage and then drives right upfield behind outstanding blocking by Mawai, Thomas, Ryan Young, and drives into the end zone.
12 plays on that drive, 93 yards to take the lead, and now the extra point by John Hall.
Extremely efficient drive by the Jets.
The extra point, 10-3 Jets. Mark Edwards fumbled, stopped the drive for the Patriots, and the Jets took over, and they now own the lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Genuity, delivering Black Rocket, the e-business network platform, on the web at Genuity.com. Circuit City, we know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. And by B.F. Goodrich Tires. Take control.
74th consecutive sellout since 1994 for the Patriots. They've just watched a long Jets scoring drive capped by that man's 8-yard touchdown run. Both of the drives for the Jets to the field goal ended the first half, and that touchdown drive started at inside the 10, one from the 3-yard line and one from their own 7. Kevin Falk at the other end.
And something the Patriots are used to seeing, Curtis Martin closing in on 100.
To the 20 and out to the 25-yard line. In fact, Curtis Martin now with 96 yards rushing. Jason Glenn, Aaron's brother, made the tackle on special teams. It's 10-3 Jets. Jets have taken the lead, 10-3. A reminder to get free fantasy football advice. Included update, injury reports, depth charts. It's all at cbs.sportsline.com or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline. Bledsoe down the middle, complete. David Patton with the catch at the 40. First down for the Patriots with 2 minutes and 8 seconds left in this third quarter.
Well, the Patriots have had success and just working against the zone defense here of the New York Jets. The Patriots had success against Cincinnati in the opening game by going to a no-huddle offense, and it was something that they had talked about showing in this game and haven't to this point, but you have to wonder if at some time maybe New England won't move into a no-huddle and see if they have any success with that.
Well, the Jets had trouble with the Indianapolis no-huddle in the opening. Bledsoe had to throw blindly for Bert Emanuel and not quite connecting. John Abraham was the reason. He rushed the throw.
Of course, Peyton Manning executing that no-huddle may have had something to do with its success.
Is he any good?
Oh, a little line stunt. We call that a TE, where the tackle goes sharply to the outside. The end loops around from behind, and John Abraham that time came right up the middle, unblocked.
From Little Lamar, South Carolina. One stoplight, no post office. Levon Kirkland, the linebacker now at Seattle, was there as well. I talked to him and I said, how big is Lamar? I'm a small town. I like this small town.
Doing a game with John Gunther.
I'll tell you about country towns now. Marvin Jones makes that tackle, and Redmond denied. As we approach the end of this third period in Foxborough. Reminder, next Saturday, SEC action moves into the Swamp. Mississippi State and the Florida Gators at 3:30 Eastern Time. And Papa John's College Football today with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman giving you all the news. Bledsoe firing incomplete and almost intercepted. It's intended for J.R. Redmond and Ray Mickens with a diving effort.
Boy, that was just superb defensive work by the Jets, because Drew Bledsoe had plenty of time to stand in the pocket. Don't say anything negative about his offensive line there. He gets nothing but time and really has nowhere to go with the football but to try to dump it off to Redmond. And boy, was he lucky that didn't end up being intercepted by Mickens, because he really had an excellent opportunity at the ball.
Chad Morton and Kevin Swain back as Lee Johnson sends that left foot into a high kick. No fair catch. That's a free ball now.
But that's a penalty. Yep. You can't run into him like that. You got to give the man a right to catch the ball.
And the flag is down. Gerard Cherry again. Remember, in the first half, he went flying by on punt coverage and eluded making contact. But Morton very late in giving a signal in the first half and didn't that time.
No, but even if you don't give a signal, you're allowed. You have a right to catch the football.
Interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch, number 30 of the kicking team. That's a 15-yard penalty. It'll be first down.
15 yards. Another big call against New England with 38 seconds remaining, third quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? And by Snickers Cruncher. Hungry? Crunch this.
10-3, the Jets in the lead. Take a look at Gerard Cherry, number 30. He arrives, and he's not shoved. He's on his own. He arrives before the football. He hits Chad Morton. Referee Larry Nemmers misspoke. Chad Morton never gave a fair catch signal, but regardless of that, you are not allowed to hit the intended returner before the football arrives.
After the 15-yard penalty, Testaverde on first down throws, and it's complete to Quebec. Tough catch. Short yardage covered by Ty Law.
Ty Law on the tackle.
Well, now we'll see if the Jets can put together a drive as effective as their last, where they really executed in all forms of the game. Good passing, good movement by Testaverde, Curtis Martin, solid running to both sides of the line. And as we head to the end of the third quarter, the Jets must have a lot of confidence offensively.
And that is the end of the third period. Jets 10, Patriots 3. We'll return to Foxborough after this word from your local station. Jets in New England looking for their first win of the season. New York on top by a touchdown, 8-yard run by Curtis Martin. And the Jets with the ball at their own 40 as we open the fourth quarter, second down and 4.5. Teddy Bruschi eyeing Vinny Testaverde and the tailback Martin, and here he comes. Needs only 9 more yards to pick up 10,000 yards combined in his career. And this is just early in his 7th season. Earlier today, here's Martin.
A little bit of everything by Curtis. Of course, outstanding blocking there by his offensive line. The cutback with the signature of Curtis Martin's running career. And again, every one of these runs we've seen here, this one for the touchdown, we've seen just excellent work by the guys up front for the Jets. Their offensive line has played pretty well today.
Third down and 4. Testaverde. Incomplete and no flag. Intended for Martin, covered by Roman Pfeiffer.
Live from Channel 12, here's today's Rhode Island lottery number.
Good evening, I'm Kim Matus from Roger Williams University. Welcome to the Daily Numbers Drawing. Now tonight's winning numbers. First digit 3, second digit 3, third digit 3, final digit 8. Repeating, that's 3338. Thanks for playing. Have a good night.
So Tupa to punt it. Troy Brown inside his 15 at the other end. They double team both wide men, the Patriots, who try to get a return.
Look at that. Whoa, what a shank.
Well, Tupa, that hip has to be bothering him. He has not kicked well the entire day. So the short kick, and the Patriots will start with excellent field position when we come back.
Here's Tom Tupa to punt, and yes, he does have a bad hip and a bad, but you hope maybe your head coach won't see it. He's over talking to the offense about what they did. That's Herman Edwards that catches the ball right at the 50-yard line.
Oh, there's the evidence.
Oh, yeah, there is the evidence right there.
14-yard punt.
No, you don't want the head coach to catch it.
So from the 45, Bledsoe underneath, complete to his tight end Rutledge at midfield, a gain of about 5. Let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, folks, if you're looking for a little bit of inspiration, look no further than the Jets sidelines. You will see coaches and players wearing New York Police and Fire and Port Authority hats. On their off day Tuesday, they visited with some of the victims' families, helped load supplies onto the Salvation Army truck, and they were so inspired and touched by what they saw, they said this is the least they could do, wear some of those hats to show their appreciation for the emergency workers, Dick.
That's right. Thanks, Bonnie. From midfield, second down, a short 5. That's wide and no gain at all to David Patton on that play. Back to Aaron Glenn, number 31 for the Jets. We asked him, well, what do you say when you go to the family of the victims? And he said, you really learn in a hurry to listen. All they want to do is come over and talk them about their loved ones. And he said, you learn to hug and just listen.
Yeah, Aaron was very eloquent yesterday in talking and trying to put into words what they all felt when they're down there. And that was a wonderful description.
Third down, 5. It skids past Bledsoe, and is he able to recover? Yes. Boy, that was a heck of an effort by the quarterback just to save the ball at his own 35-yard line.
Yeah, Damian Woody shot this one low and left as it goes back. Take a look at that. No, that's Mike Compton actually in at center, number 77. Compton's in playing center, and that one was low and got away from Drew Bledsoe. And Drew did a good job of, did you see him? That was quite a leap by Drew as he really extended to get after that ball.
And James Ferrier was right there along with John Abraham. Here's the punt by Lee Johnson. Chad Morton at his 12-yard line. And doesn't quite get to the 20. Patrick pass in on the tackle, 53-yard punt, 6 on the return. Welcome back. 12-14 left in the fourth quarter. The New York Jets with a 10-3 lead, and they start this series from the 19. Anderson in motion. Malloy on the blitz, and they pick it up beautifully. Testaverde dumps it off short. Lavernius Poles to the 24, a gain of 5. Mike Vrabel made the tackle. Well, tomorrow night, Monday night's a big lineup on CBS. King of Queens, Yes Dear, the hit show everybody loves, Raymond, and the Ellen Show special premiere, followed by Family Law. Join us tomorrow night on CBS.
Once again, Vinny Testaverde outside the pocket, again to his right, and again another completion. Nothing spectacular. This time just good for 5-6 yards, but good work by Vinny. Looking young.
Under an autumn moon, 2nd and 5. Draw to Curtis Martin. Brought him in motion, and a little different wrinkle to the 29. That'll be very close to a first down. Brian Cox in on the stop as Martin moves ever closer to that 10,000-yard mark. To do that in 6 seasons and a couple of games, amazing contribution.
Still only, as a matter of fact, he's the exact age of his jersey.
He's over 100 yards rushing. Today, 103. Last 4 years, top rushers in the NFL. Eddie George, Jerome Bettis, and there's Curtis Martin.
And how it has to hurt everybody in this stadium to watch him have this kind of success with the Jets.
First down at the 29. A long arm fake by Testaverde, and then dumps it off in the flat. Incomplete. Tough chance for Martin. He wanted to be able to pull it in, but he was staggering out of bounds as he tried to make that one-handed catch.
He tried. Vinny had a good look around the field. Again, outstanding protection by the Jets offensive line. A classic look at what the pocket is supposed to be. The two ends get ushered upfield, and Vinny steps up, but he just couldn't find anybody downfield.
Boy, last first game, the loss to Indianapolis, Martin was first to step forward, say, don't be blaming our new coach, Herman Edwards. Put that all on us. We just didn't deserve to win. All the blame goes here. Our coach had us prepared.
Talk about respect that the players have for a coach.
5 wide receivers in this set, and Testaverde with not the blocking goes down in the arms of ex-Jet Bobby Hamilton.
Ryan Young, the right tackle, just really gave the outside corner to Hamilton. Take a look right there. 74 is Young. He sets short. Well, when you set short, you've got to deliver a blow. You've got to hit the guy. You've got to stop him. And you could see Ryan Young right there. He missed Hamilton. He didn't get a good shot on Hamilton, and Hamilton got around the corner. 5 receiver look here. You see 3 over here, the 2 up here. Completely empty backfield.
4 receivers this time, 2 right, 2 left. Curtis Martin behind Testaverde. Crowd comes alive. Throw to Corbett underneath. Corbett hit at the 35, short of the first down. By Law and Lawyer Malloy. Lawyer and Law make the stop.
Well, the Patriots defense did what it had to do. This stage of the ball. And you know the Jets have confidence now, and the Patriots are searching for theirs. Again, a series where the Jets have been dominant recently. They've won 6 of the last 8. I believe, the last 3 that have been played here in Foxborough. So at this stage of a ball game, you know the Jets are thinking that we're going to win this game, and you wonder if the Patriots themselves are wondering whether they can win.
A better kick by Tupa. And the third catch, Troy Brown at the 31, and the flag is down.
Wonder if we had a player that went out and came back in.
36-yard punt that time for Tupa. We're under the 10-minute mark here in the 4th quarter. I'm talking about, here's Mr. Nemmers, the legal procedure against the Jets. And under the circumstances, Bill Belichick might just take the ball at the 31-yard line.
Well, it depends how strongly he feels about his return game, but I would 31-yard line is pretty tough to pass up. You can't go out of bounds and come back in and be the first to touch the ball, and I'm not sure. I'm not saying that's what happened. That's one of the possibilities. It's something involved up on the top with one of the sprinters.
Number 25, the kicking team, went out of bounds on his own. Penalty is declined. First down.
That was Nick Ferguson.
That's Nick Ferguson there, number 25. Well, I'm not so sure he went out of bounds on his own. We're going to leave on our own.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better. Sprint PCS, the clear alternative to cellular. And by Bandits, a new film from MGM starring Bruce Willis, rated PG-13.
And welcome back. The Jets leading in this low-scoring game in New England, 10-3, 9:22 left in the fourth quarter. John Abraham zeroes in on Bledsoe. They've not sacked Bledsoe today, and that's quite in contrast to last year when they sacked him 13 times in the two games total. 13 times they got Bledsoe down. And he's going long this time for Brown. He stayed in bounds all the way to the 10-yard line.
How good was that by Troy Brown on two occasions? First of all, catching the football, you saw him bobble it, and then to stay in bounds when it almost looked for sure that his momentum was going to carry him out. Marcus Coleman, number 42, the trailing Jet. But look at the body control by Troy Brown to stay in bounds. It looked awful. He was so much concentrating on getting control of the football that it almost looked for sure, Dick, that he was going to go out of bounds.
Spectacular play by Troy Brown, 58 yards, the longest gain of this game. And now Bledsoe, pump fake underneath. Ooh, man, you know you're going to get hit there as Ferrier drills J.R. Redmond with help from Victor Green. So the Patriots now inside the 5-yard line, seeking a tying touchdown.
That was a well-designed play by Charlie Weiss, the coordinator, where Bledsoe faked the throw into the end zone intentionally, and then all along planning on coming back short to Redmond.
Second down, 4 yards away from a touchdown. Bledsoe again in trouble. Down he goes. There's the first sack of the game, and John Abraham on his heels to get him down. Second sack of the season for young Abraham.
Well, and again, this is what Abraham does best. There he is right here in front of us, 94. This is speed around the corner. As he gets around the corner, that is that great speed that we've talked about. And there's David Patton down in the end zone, kind of in that soft spot, but when you're Bledsoe, you're being chased from behind. Patton thinks he's wide open, but look underneath. If you look underneath, Drew Bledsoe took a look. He saw, I believe it was Marvin Jones, who was short, clogging the way.
37 from the 9. Bledsoe intercepted in the end zone by Ferrier. The linebacker Ferrier out to the 20. Bledsoe can't get him, and finally tackled at the 43-yard line by Joe Andruzzi. James Ferrier's second career interception out of the end zone and almost to midfield. Oh, what a heartbreaking play for the Patriots and Belichick. Linebacker James Ferrier, great hopes for this first-round pick in '97. Now that outside linebacker job is his. A big interception out of the end zone. 3 turnovers now for the Jets. New England has not taken it away from New York, and here's Curtis Martin to the 46, a gain of 2.
Let's go back, Dick, if we could take a look at that interception. I'm assuming he's throwing the ball right here to Charles Johnson because he's the only Patriots receiver to that side of the field. The thing of it is, when Drew releases the football right there, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 New York Jets to that side of the field, and James Ferrier, the one coming across the farthest from the inside, is the one who makes the interception. That is a lot of traffic in the vicinity of the only receiver that Drew Bledsoe had.
Bledsoe studying the photos of the defense, and now 10,000 yards for Martin unceremoniously on that last 2-yard gain. And now he throws for Anderson, and just a little short. Anderson had 2 steps to Bucky Jones. Again, we want to give you that telephone number for relief effort and support. It's 1-800-710-8002. 1-800-710-8002 to give to the September 11th Fund. America Fights Back. Jets are 4 of 11 on third down. Testaverde sets up third down and 8 at his own 46.
Here comes everybody.
And Martin stacked up for maybe a half-yard gain, so the Jets will have to punt it away. Bucky Jones coming up on the run support.
Well, that was a very calculated call by Romeo Crennel, the defensive coordinator for Bill Belichick. He brought everybody right up the middle, and he hit that one right because there was absolutely nowhere for Curtis Martin to go.
Clock ticking away towards 6 minutes remaining as Tupa averaging only 33.8. His career average is up around 44, 45.
They'll kick that one in the coach.
Troy Brown. Hit from behind and sandwiched with a hit from in front as well at the 19-yard line. Nick Ferguson, credit him with the tackle. Timeout, 5:45 left.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Samsung, where everyone's invited to a new world of enjoyment. And by Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Are you ready for a cold one?
Well, New Yorkers playing for their friends at home, and the Giants victorious 13-3 earlier at Kansas City. Jets lead here 10-3, but the Patriots have the ball at their own 19-yard line with 5:45 remaining. Bledsoe, plenty of time. Underneath, short gainer to Mark Edwards. Bonnie?
Well, Dick, that James Ferrier interception on the Jets' last defensive series gave the Jets sideline that emotional surge it seems like they've really needed. It's been subdued all day, but practically every player came over to Ferrier when he came back to the sideline. Coach Herman Edwards said to his defense, "We're going to be fine. Just play smart," Dick.
All right, Bonnie. Ferrier called him Potsy since he was a kid. His parents gave him that nickname after the character on Happy Days. He was anteing on that interception.
Potsy wasn't really an all-star on Happy Days.
No, they watched closely the Ferrier family, which sounds like another sitcom. Bledsoe complete underneath the Bert Emanuel. Emanuel, one of those unrestricted free agents, acquired. In fact, Bill Belichick said he was looking for more of a speed receiver, and they were after both Emanuel and Charles Johnson, and they both committed the same day.
Well, he dropped that ball.
Yeah,
Hold on a minute. I hear whistles, and I think Larry Nemmers has felt the buzzer. He's looking down at it. He's going to come over and talk to Herman.
And Edwards was right in that play, and he saw it as closely as any official did. It was directly in his visual path.
And if he didn't...
The Jets are challenging that the completed pass hit the ground and thus was incomplete. We'll review the play.
Keep in mind, to be a completed pass, you've got to come down with both feet, establish possession. Now, if he would have fumbled the ball after he established possession, it bounced right back to him. No harm, no foul. I don't think that's the case.
He's got it there.
Did he? No, I don't think that under the NFL's version of possession that Bert Emanuel there put the ball away and kept it.
Now we see it there where it's an obvious bounce back into his body, although shielded by his body. That's what the officials try to see.
Yep. The official may have made the determination on the field that, he may have seen it, but he ruled that he had possession and then fumbled the football. And Larry Nemmers is going to have to see enough to overturn it. Interesting in this situation that it's Bert Emanuel that's involved in this. Remember, there's been a rule change in the NFL about what is possession on a pass now. If you have control of the ball and the ball touches the ground, but you have control of it, it's a catch awarded, and that goes back to Bert Emanuel when he was playing with Tampa Bay in a game in the NFC Championship game against the Rams at the end of the 99 season, where he made a catch like that. It was ruled incomplete correctly under the rules of back then, and they have since amended that rule. I don't know. The ball is still loosely exchanged between his right and his left hand. I think Larry Nemmers is going to look at that and say that he does not have possession of that football. You've got to, as a receiver, put it firmly away.
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground. It was an incomplete pass. It'll be third down. The Jets are not charged with a team timeout.
No timeout charge to Herman Edwards' Jets. He saw it clearly. It was shielded by most everyone else. It was a tough call, but it was right in front of Edwards.
And I think I agree with everyone who likes the National Football League and who follows teams and has an interest in this game. It is nice to see the officials back at work. It is nice to see, for many reasons, but the competency has increased dramatically. No slight against the other guys. It's just the fellows who work in the NFL are the best, and it's nice to have them back on.
So third down and 10 now. Big play for the Patriots. Bledsoe can run it. Needs 10 yards. Oh, does he hit? Oh, my.
And the ball, they're going to actually, it looks like they're going to rule that a fumble. And oh, look at Drew.
Yeah, this is more critical than the first down to the Patriots' hopes. Sean Ellis, 92, was carrying his 294 pounds along with Mo Lewis right into the path of Bledsoe.
And Drew Bledsoe intentionally started to slow down, but didn't go out of bounds. Let's watch and listen to this at regular speed. If you're going to slow down, you got to get out of bounds.
Boy, that was some collision.
It was my impression in watching this that Drew kind of hesitates. Right there, he starts to slow down and then gets caught from behind.
Ellis from behind, and then Mo Lewis charging in with the shoulder from the side.
And Dick, key word you just said, shoulder. He hit him with the shoulder. He did not hit him with the hat. He did not hit him with the helmet. And Drew was in the field of play.
He gained 8 yards, so 4th and 2, and Lee Johnson to punt. Unless Belichick has a fake in mind, Chad Morton back at the 25 for the Jets.
And what a plus Chad Morton is for the New York Jets as a punt return.
Kevin Swain joins him. Short kick off the side of the foot. That takes a beautiful roll if you're a Patriot fan. Morton swoops it up at the 20 and loses more yardage back to the 12. That was risky with a touchdown lead. Larry Izzo, the special team star, formerly with the Miami Dolphins, makes the play for New England. 54 yards with all that roll on the kick for Johnson, -5 on the return. If you're just joining us, we're in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Only 1,300 no-shows, sell out of 62,000. A credit to these Patriot fans. Those of you tuning in for 60 Minutes tonight, it'll follow a conclusion of this game. The New York Jets leading the Patriots 10-3, 4:36 remaining in the fourth quarter. Drew Bledsoe seems to be okay. He was hit tremendously hard. Curtis Martin stopped at the line of scrimmage by former teammate Brian Cox, number 51. Now, so here's what the game has provided. Great defense in the first half, 3-3. Here's the interception by Aaron Glenn at the Jets' 3-yard line. There was a fumble by Mark Edwards inside the 10, and then Curtis Martin kept a long drive with a touchdown. And then the Patriots going for the tie. Bledsoe's pass intercepted in the end zone and returned by James Ferrier. 4 minutes left. Defense needs a stop on the Jets to give Bledsoe another chance. 2nd and 10 into the flat, complete, short yardage again. Coles, did he fumble or is it going to be called?
No catch. Coles never had possession of the ball.
Roman Pfeiffer made the hit. Tonight, it's Premiere Sunday, CBS, starting with 60 Minutes. A report from Ed Bradley in the Middle East, and don't miss the premiere of The Education of Max Beckford. Stars Academy Award winners Richard Dreyfuss and Marcia Gay Harden.
Well, the crowd here in Foxborough comes to their feet. They want to see their offense get one more good, solid possession if they can force the Jets to punt. they'll get good field position.
Timeout call. 3:51 left in the fourth. The Jets by 7. You see on the New England sidelines, Damon Heward. He's the third quarterback today, along with Tom Brady talking to Drew Bledsoe. Appears as if Bledsoe's going to come back in if the Patriots defense can hold the Jets here on third down and a dozen. Crowd getting into it, trying to help the defense with just under 4 minutes to go. 4 wide receivers and Martin. Deep down the middle, almost intercepted by Lawyer Malloy.
To Bucky Jones and Malloy collided, and they both appear to be injured. To Bucky Jones really grabbing, looks like one of his legs initially, but he ripped his helmet off in a hurry, and Lawyer Malloy is down. Let's look at it from behind the Jets and Vinny Testaverde. Vinny's going to try to go right down the middle of the field. Look at the protection. Even Curtis Martin stays in to block. The ball looked like it just came up short trying to get it to Wayne Corbett. And again, let's look at Bucky Jones, who's going for the interception. Malloy going for the interception. And it looks like Malloy's helmet, take it back, that's Bucky Jones. His helmet hits Malloy right on the hip.
Malloy favoring his leg leaves, but Jones, he first grabbed for his left knee.
Yeah, but it looked like his head hit the hip of Lawyer Malloy. That's how he lost his helmet.
Two of the bigger defenders for the Patriots in that collision, Malloy at 210 and Jones closer to 220.
Well, Lawyer Malloy seems to be okay. There's some more good news. Bucky Jones is up.
So 60 minutes, incredibly popular 7 o'clock Sunday night. It's a must for most of us. And tonight, what is the Arab world saying about us? Are we the enemy, or are they as frightened of terrorists as we are? Ed Bradley is in the Middle East and will give a report tonight on 60 Minutes immediately following the game.
Well, the question now is, after Tom Tupa punts, has Drew Bledsoe, has he got enough focus to drive his team down?
Tupa's kick short. Troy Brown at the 48, 45, and down to the 38. So Bledsoe only 38 yards away from a tying touchdown as he comes back on the field with 3.5 minutes to go. 37 yards on that last punt.
In the 3.5 minutes, plenty of time in and of itself. The Patriots also have all 3 timeouts remaining. The Jets have 2. And I think the crowd kind of yelling Drew in appreciation of the toughness that year in and year out has been demonstrated by Drew Bledsoe. This guy has been knocked around and just always seems to be able to keep playing.
They started the 39 officially. Rutledge in motion, and the handoff is to Kevin Falk.
Good solid first down play.
Down to the 33-yard line. Brings up second and a short 4.
Well, for the New England Patriots, I think right now that Bill Belichick has got, after a 5-11 season last year, what an opportunity for his club to take a climb up maybe just one rung of that ladder if they can tie this ball game up.
Inside handoff, no. It's a fake to Edwards, and they give outside to Antoine Smith. And he's short of the first down as Gang Green after him, led by Marvin Jones. Good second effort by Smith to get close to a first down.
Kind of a nifty play on paper, but it certainly didn't fool anybody, especially James Ferrier there, number 58, as he just takes the inside of the field away from Antoine Smith, and by that time, the rest of Ferrier's teammates got there.
Third down and 2 at the 31-yard line.
Now, can the Patriots muscle up if they choose to run it?
The 3 of 12 on third downs. And that'll be a false start. Steve Martin.
Well, that was certainly an intent to bring the Jets across the line of scrimmage. That was a hard count by Bledsoe, and what he did was he actually got one of his own guys to jump.
Kevin Falk appeared to take a false move.
Yeah, this is Drew Bledsoe, and he really barks this one out. And you can see in the backfield that Kevin Falk starts out of his stance, flexes his shoulders, and that backfired.
That drew Steve Martin and the penalty. 8th penalty for 75 yards against the Patriots today. That's not good for Bill Belichick. And instead of 3rd and 2, now a tougher 3rd and 7. Double pass. And is it incomplete or a fumble? It's an incomplete pass. John Abraham in the midst of another big defensive play. Now they're going to call it a fumble, apparently.
Well, let's take a look at this. Drew Bledsoe drops back.
Yeah, he's got possession.
Oh, he's got possession.
Yep, that is a fumble.
That is a fumble. Mark Edwards caught the shovel pass, took 2 steps, and then on the hit, he drops the football.
No, John Abraham, his presence again, forcing the turnover. Second fumble by Mark Edwards in this game, both in the opponent's territory. So the Jets have it at the 34-yard line. 4th turnover, none by the Jets.
We may be getting a coach's challenge here. I mean, this is certainly, if you're the Patriots, you almost certainly have to challenge this.
But it appeared he not only caught the ball cleanly, but took at least 2 steps.
You gotta take a chance, though, Dick.
Never know.
No, that's exactly right. With 2 minutes and 43 seconds left in the game.
Well, Edwards, tough day for him. He fumbled at the New York Jets 7-yard line in the 3rd quarter when it looked as if the Patriots were going to go in and score, and then the Jets immediately went on a long drive of 93 yards to Martin's touchdown. That's the difference in the game.
Receiver caught the ball and fumbled. We'll review the play.
Yeah, if you're Bill Belichick here, you got to take a chance that maybe Larry Nemmers will see something and give you the football back.
A lot of times this shovel pass looks like a fumble, but it's because the receiver doesn't catch it cleanly. But
Mark Edwards caught that football with both hands, put it away. You can see him transfer it over to his right arm cleanly, and then, that angle right there, it's not quite
as convincing.
Yeah, it's not quite as convincing as the other. But again, I don't want to harp on this, but you always start with the ruling on the field. The ruling on the field was that it was a catch and then a fumble. So Larry Nemmers is going to have to see something that absolutely convinces him otherwise. And Dick, you and I are of the opinion that he will not.
In the meanwhile, we also agree on the quality play of this young John Abraham. John Antonio Nettles Abraham, if you will, a first-round pick a year ago, and then he had a hernia problem last year after 6 games. He had already had 4 sacks in the 6 games. Didn't play high school football until he was a senior. He was a drummer in the band and just a great all-around athlete. And at 6'4" and 256, and with his speed off the edge, he's going to terrorize left tackles.
Well, remember, he lost most of last season. He had that abdominal hernia, only played in 6 games for the Jets, and appears to have he's all the way back physically. Take one more look at it here from the end zone. That's Edwards on the left. Shovel pass. If he just drops it, that's an incomplete pass. Sure looked to me like he put the ball away. But, Dick, only Larry Nemmers has a vote here. This is not a democracy when he's under the hood right there.
Certainly taking his time, looking at the various angles, and of course with the earphones is able to talk to the replay official who can tell Nemmers what he thinks he sees. But Nemmers is the one who has to judge finally.
reviewing the play, the receiver caught the ball, took steps, and then fumbled. So the ruling on the field stands. It'll be first down, Jets.
In a way, you can feel for the Patriots fans, Dan, because all the reviews have gone against them, but they all were the correct call.
Well, they certainly, in our opinion, they were. One more look at it again, and I just don't think there's any doubt that Mark Edwards successfully caught that ball, put it away, and then attempted to run with it, and after the hit from Abraham, lost control of it. So, but again, I don't blame Bill Belichick for trying.
Meanwhile, Abraham forcing the fumble, and Ferrier, who has an interception, also has a fumble recovery for the Jets today. And now tonight, 2:43 left. Patriots still have 2 timeouts, as do the Jets. And they finally corral Curtis Martin after a gain of 1 timeout, New England. So they have 1 more timeout plus the 2-minute warning. 2:35 remaining.
Well, when Bill Belichick talks to his football team, and of course this game is far from over, but against a formidable opponent like the Jets, and especially an opponent who has a track record of success against your team the way the Jets do over the Patriots, you can't turn the ball over deep in their territory the way the Patriots have today. Those two, the interception by Bledsoe in the end zone to Ferrier, and then that one, you just don't get that many good opportunities. You don't get that many good looks at the end zone.
Well, and anytime you look at the statistics on Monday morning of a game, you see one team had 4 turnovers, the other 0. I mean, 4, that team's going to win. That's the team that's going to lose if they've given it up 4 times.
Right. The one turnover, the pass by Bledsoe that was intercepted by Aaron Glenn, even though they put together a 97-yard drive and scored, you don't look at a turnover like that as really that big of a deal. Actually, it was kind of a nifty little substitute for a punt.
2nd and 9. Martin. Meantime, after a gain of 2 more, that'll bring up 3rd and 7, and the Patriots will spend their final timeout and now have the 2-minute warning left. 60 minutes is next. Those of you joining in, it's been a big day of football. It's been a very emotional day around the country as National Football League action has resumed, and we have appreciated the way these fans in New England have welcomed back the athletes and cheering the country. So the support has just been so enormous, and the perspective of what has happened the last 2 weeks and where football fits in, I think, has been more than proper.
Joe Andruzzi, you saw him running out when he was introduced carrying the flags.
It's a moment that got to me when they took Old Glory back to full staff before the game began.
And this is one of those rivalries in the NFL that is really deeply felt. The Patriots and the Jets, this goes way back. And Dick, would you agree with me? At least half the people in this stadium, maybe more, gave the Jets a nice ovation when they came out for the start of this game. I believe that'll be their one and only ovation ever here in Foxborough. But it was
appropriate to the mood, wasn't it?
It certainly was. It was classic.
All right, now it's the defense order to stop Testaverde and try to give Bledsoe a final chance in the last 2 minutes. The pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage. It appeared to be Hamilton or Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, the linebacker, got a piece of it, denied the completion, and that also stops the clock.
Well, this is back-to-back possessions here where the Jets had a chance to really, just with a couple first downs, put this football game away, and unable to do so. Really credit New England's defense. They have not given up. Again, they'll give their offense an opportunity to tie this game.
2:26 left. No timeouts left for the Patriots, however. Krupa, line drive. It roll laterally to the 31-yard line. And 2:16 remains.
Well, keep in mind, the Jets coverage teams don't have a whole lot of confidence. They gave up that 78-yarder to Terrence Wilkins in the opener in that game against Indianapolis. So not giving the Patriots a chance to mount any kind of a return, kind of a plus. And Drew Bledsoe is on the sideline.
Tom Brady, the second-year quarterback from the University of Michigan, who threw only 3 passes in his rookie year last year, 1 for 3, a 6-yard completion, and this is his first duty of 2001. So apparently Bledsoe knocked around a little more than it appeared, and Brady in charge against 5 defensive backs.
Well, I think anybody could tell by looking at Bledsoe on the ground that he was hurt.
Underneath, complete, but just short yardage to Patrick Pass, who was a running back fullback. Mo Lewis made the tackle.
And the Jets will give them lots of those. They can have all the 3-yard completions they want.
And the 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes left for the Patriots to try to tie it up. They trail 10-3. Well, the Jets and Giants left the Big Apple today, promising all their friends who have been battling the tragedy of 2 weeks ago that they'd bring back a win. The Giants have succeeded. The Jets are a touchdown ahead of the Patriots, but who knows, 2 minutes to go. But Brady, a cold quarterback in the game.
A cold quarterback who's got to go downfield. You got to think he's got to look for David Patton somewhere along the line. He's the guy with the most speed in the Patriots receiving corps. We're being told that Drew Bledsoe, now imagine this, we're being told that his replacement is not because of injury. Yes, I did not misspeak. That's what we're being told by the Patriots.
Brady overfires and headed for Troy Brown on first down. 1:36 to go. No timeouts left tonight. Premiere Sunday on CBS, starting with 60 Minutes. That report from Ed Bradley in the Middle East. And then don't miss the premiere. Education of Max Bickford. It stars 2 Academy Award winners, Richard Dreyfuss and Marcia Gay Harden. And Sidney Poitier stars in the CBS Sunday movie, The Last Brickmaker in America. It's all here, a night of premieres. Tonight on CBS, immediately after the conclusion of the game. 2nd and 10. Brady underneath to Brown, and again, they'll get the underneath. Had a chance to get bounds and didn't. So the clock runs, 1:25, 1:24. 3rd down and 1. Jets very loose defense. They're linebackers playing off the ball nearly 10 yards when it snapped. Brady, 32, another very short pass, first down, but a gain of only 2. And the first downs don't matter. It's the 6 points that they need. A minute to go.
Good job of Chad Brown, the umpire, getting out of the way of that short pass. Herman Edwards has been here before. Defensive back as a player, defensive coach his entire coaching career here in this league.
Brady. Flag down. Pass completed to the tight end, Jermaine Wiggins, to the 40-yard line, but the flag. And a Jet slow getting up, holding against New England will bring it back.
Yeah, there's a Jet still down on the ground.
It's Abraham.
Who that is John Abraham, and everyone who likes the Jets right
Number
now
63. 10-yard penalty.
Got their
Repeat,
breath caught in their throat. Let's go ahead and see if we can see. I believe this is John Abraham right here. Yes, that is. Who he takes a shoulder pad right on the hip. Right on the hip. I think that's Jermaine Wiggins, the Patriot tight end, who ended up catching the pass. But you know that's just a good job of faking by the tight end. It's a legal block, but Abraham didn't see that coming and got a shoulder pad right on the hip.
And so Bledsoe here at the critical final 2 minutes with the Patriots trying without a timeout to score and tie the game, left on the sidelines. And if we're to believe the report from the New England bench, it's because Brady, a coach's decision, is the man they want to finish the game because they said Bledsoe is not injured. Brady runs it to the sidelines, doesn't get out of bounds, however.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, they did say he dives out. 33 seconds left. Ferrier and Green chasing him to the sidelines.
Well, the time has come now where the Jets have got to go downfield with the football. The Patriots, rather, I said Jets, I misspoke. New England has been working underneath. They've been settling for the 5 and the 10-yard intermediate stuff, but with 33 seconds left, no timeouts, they've got to go down. They've got to go down the field. They got to go vertical.
From the 50-yard line, Brady. Complete. There you go. And inside the 30, but the clock continues to run. David Patton with the catch. Victor Green the tackle. Down to 20 seconds. They need to down the ball.
Yep, just take the snap and pound it into the ground. Come on, get set, guys.
And it stops at 13 seconds. Time for a couple of plays. And the ball inside the Jets' 30-yard line at the 28.
Don't want to nitpick over a couple of seconds, but it looked like they could have gotten to the line of scrimmage with a little more alacrity and down the ball just, maybe at 15 seconds, maybe 16.
Well, it's quite a pot of boiling soup that they've thrown Brady into here with no timeouts and trying to move his team downfield.
It's not for me to call the Patriots liars. It's just for them to say that Drew Bledsoe is fine, that it's not related to injury, that what they're saying Tom Brady's a better quarterback in this situation.
Brady steps up and throws down the middle, incomplete. Did have a Patriot in the end zone that seemed to have slipped behind Marcus Coleman, but Sean Ellis had put pressure and seemed to hit the arm of Brady as he delivered the ball. 8 seconds. 3 of the last 4 games have been decided by 7 points or less in this series, and the Jets have been the winner each time.
Pretty much impossible for this not to be added to that list.
This almost has to go the distance. Toward the end zone. Around and incomplete.
Oh, I thought David Patton was going to have a chance at that football when it got batted up in the air when Victor Green is down. Oh, that's all you can ask for is after the initial bounce in the end zone that it goes back up into the air, and that's precisely what happens right there. Oh, and just falling away. David Patton is right there. Bert Emanuel was right there. Oh, and Herman did not want to see that ball still elevated where some Patriot had a shot at it.
Time called as Victor Green helped off the field, limping. Bledsoe still blinking on the sidelines for the Patriots. 2 seconds. 2 seconds left. A chance, final chance now for New England, unless there's a Jets penalty.
With his leaping ability.
Last play of the game. Brady, the quarterback. Now he'll crank it up and throw it into the end zone. Incomplete down at the 2-yard line. And that's it. Herman Edwards has his first National Football League win as a head coach of the Jets. Hard-fought defensive struggle, and Curtis Martin's touchdown, the difference, 10-3.
Well, Tom Brady buys a little extra time by getting out of the pocket. He actually delivers a pretty good strike as he throws it into Charles Johnson. But even if it would have been a reception, it would not have been good enough.
So the New York Jets have defeated the New England Patriots 10-3. For Dan Deerdorf and Bonnie Bernstein, this is Dick Enberg saying so long from Foxborough Stadium, where the final score goes to the Jets by a touchdown. Stay tuned for the Sunday night lineup that will run in order, although we join 60 minutes a little later than the usual 7 o'clock time. That's, of course, for everyone except those of you watching on the West Coast. 60 minutes coming up. The Jets 10, the Patriots 3. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.